It's Jam TV, show number 94. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Jam TV show number 94. Can you believe it? 94. I said 80 shows. I said, we're making 80 shows. Everybody went, 80 shows. We're not going to be locked in our houses for 80 shows. Well, we're locked in our houses. And the craziness has begun again. Everybody's like, it's a hoax. It's not even real. Oh, my God. It's not a hoax. And I hope you're all doing okay. Listen, there is something that I wanted to float by you. And I do this in the beginning. I see the viewers trickling in, but I wanted to add some news. So you all know that I love cats. I bring cats on the show. I've got my little baby boys, my orange boy, Blinker, and I've got Picky Boy, and who's turning 5 shortly. And I've got a birthday coming up. But I also take care of a whole bunch of other cats that live outside, and it's been brutally cold and all that. So I'm working with a local animal shelter to, first of all, I feed them all the time, and I'm working with an animal shelter now who's catching them, taking them to the vet, getting them, treatments and such, and also getting them neutered, and then they can bring them back and they re-release them. So I'm still feeding them. We got 2 of them this week. We're doing a program on that, but the vet, the nerve of that guy wants $50 for each visit, even though it's a charity. And so if anybody wants to donate down here. Everything from the show tonight is going to go to that. I've put a lot of money into this. Here are my boys. These 4 guys, we got the 2 guys in the middle. The other 2 are a little harder to catch, but there are about 7 or 8 of them now that are showing up. And if anybody feel like donating a little bit, by the time we're done, it's going to be $300-400 to get these guys neutered at $50 a clip. And any donations will go to that, and it'll be super appreciated. So anything down below, you'll see down there, you'll see where you can donate. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my message right now. And with no further ado, Bill Noman. Hey, Bill.
That is a noble cause, and
I figure it's a noble. I don't do it because it's a noble cause. I do it because these little creeps come out and they hang out outside, and my cats go sit in the window and like they're buddies. And I'm not going to let them starve, so I've started feeding them, whatever. And I go.
Do they ever interface, like interact, like in person, or no?
Well, not like through the window, like they're. I have a perch built sort of over by the front door, and there's a screen. It's a screen porch, and they look out at each other while they're, so they know each other.
Yeah.
And they hang out through the windows and other places, but they don't come in. I'm worried about my cats getting sick or
would
such.
it be correct to say that they're feral cats?
They're feral cats. They're definitely feral cats. In fact, that look that a feral cat gives you when you try to be nice to it, like, I'm gonna kill you, like that look. When we caught these 2 guys, they got a guy who comes and he spent 3 hours of his time to catch 2 cats and sitting in his car, and then they take him to neuter him or whatever. And it's like a cat, it's like a Roadrunner contraption. It's like a thing with a stick, and then they pull the thing and it falls down, and then they have a way of getting them out of there safely. And it's quite an operation, but when we got 8 of them, there's a bunch of money. So if anybody is watching and donates to animal things and whatever, I'm not an animal fundraiser. I'm an animal lover, and I sort of fell into this position because nobody's out here in the wintertime, so in the summer, they're all like, well, we don't need your stupid food. We got 9 lives over here and whatever. But in the winter, they need it, and I give them a little place that they can go. I don't think they get cold like we get cold. They're like, we're not going to get in your box.
For sure, they're not talking about it,
right.
That's not, they are talking about where can you find the mice, but they're not talking about like, oh, gee, it's so fucking cold. Why don't we go to Florida? They're not.
They look cool. They're out there. It's like 4 degrees, and they're out there like, All right, there's some food. Awesome.
They kind of have like some, like the guys, I don't know who's right and left, but they kind of have like that fat face, like that kind of, like, like,
Yep.
it's kind of cool.
They do. They're cool guys. So, but they, feral cat. I don't know how I got into this. I'm not some like animal rescue person, but I just fell into my lap.
You like cats,
I like cats. What can I say?
At first, I thought you were talking about the musical, and then I was thinking, well, next week I'll play something from Cats.
I like cats.
Like there's a signature song from that show, and that isn't the one. It's not Sondheim, right? That's
yes, it's one of those.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it swell? Look at it's like one of those kind of songs.
Broadway musicals. Yeah, I saw.
Right, Memories is the song, right? Memories. Da, 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 da,
is that from Cats?
I think so. I think so.
Well, I saw Cats on Broadway the first time, and I liked it. It was a funny show.
Well, get a bunch of dancers in little tight cat suits. What's not to like about that?
What's not like about that?
And they're all
exactly.
Like that.
Oh my God! So we'll talk about COVID after. Why don't you do some songs first?
Okay, so I do have a theme tonight, and my theme is basically this is the 12th day of Christmas, which is also called the Epiphany, which is also called the Dios de los Reyes, and also called Three Kings Day. So I thought as a little thematic, I would do songs that feature the word king in them. So it's a king thing, and there's nothing going to be much royal about this, but it is king.
That sounds great. Go for it.
There you go. When you think kings, you think this first. Trailer for sale, rooms to let for 50 cents. No pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road, or with a third boxcar midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out clothes and shoes, I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies that I have found, short but not too big around. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. I know every engineer on every train, all of the children and all of their names, and every handout in every town, and every lock that ain't locked when no one's around. I'd say trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let for 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing brooms buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. Yes, trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let for 50 cents. No pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road, king of the road, king of the road. And for those of you who lived in Colorado, like in there was a I've told the story a million times. There was a local place that actually did trailers, and they appropriated that song. And I honestly have a difficult time separating their lyrics from this. But trailers for sale and rent, You'll select the famous brands. We serve is what we sell. Go with the king of the road. Like right
It's
off
great.
25 on the way when they're Luby Chevrolet and blah, blah, blah.
And you know they didn't pay a royalty on that. They just ripped that off.
Yes, they did not pay anything on that.
Nobody paid anything. They
That
didn't
is-
have Facebook shutting them down back in the day.
You are correct, Gary. They paid nothing.
So you know who Leland Sklar is, right? Famous bass
Very
player
well, yes.
with the big beard or whatever. He played with freaking
Great.
everybody, right? Like he's amazing, right? So I'm like flipping, I'm home locked up because of self-imposed quarantine because of COVID. Now, I don't have COVID or anything, but I'm like scared. I don't even want a cold. I had a cold 2 weeks ago. I didn't want the cold, so I'm staying alone. And so I'm flipping through, YouTube or whatever you do, and it pops up. There's Leland Sklar. I'm like, all right, I'll watch that. He's sitting with these two young guys. They're like, they look like adults, but they're 12. They're like probably 35 or whatever, right? Anybody under 40 looks like they're 12, right?
Right.
And they're talking, right? And I'm wondering if they really know who Leland Sklar is. And then there's this pretty girl there too, whose name I should know, but I don't. And she was like the bass player on tour with like lots of famous people as well, right? Like, but she's 25, like
Now, Wickenfeld, is that who it is?
no, it wasn't Tal. It wasn't Tal. I'm a fan of hers, but it's a young girl, and she toured with a lot of people, whatever. They both played bass, and they were like crazy good, right? And then I realized that what they did was they listened to a couple of songs. One was Taxman by the Beatles, which has got like a really kind of interesting bass line in it, whatever. And then they analyzed it. They talked about it, and they analyzed it. Then I realized, okay, so do you know who Scary Pockets is? Okay, so if you don't know Scary Pockets, do yourself a favor. Go look at Scary Pockets. Okay, there are these like world-class studio players, like unbelievable. And they get like 30 musicians and an 8-piece horn section and a Hammond organ player and an electric piano player and a Moog player and a whatever, and and singers and like world class, and they cover songs and they do it like so good you can't even believe how good they are. And apparently what they do is they do it in a recording studio and they shoot it with a lot of GoPros or whatever, and they mix it. And the audience has headphones on. So there's like 100 people in the studio and they listening to everything through headphones. And they apparently spend 2 hours from beginning to end on the song. And then they release whatever is the best work that they do, the best live version. But I mean, rehearsal is 2 hours, everything. And it's unbelievable. Anyway, the two guys in the middle between these great bass players on this show are the guys who did Scary Pockets, right? The two lead guys who are amazing musically. And also, one of the guys is the founder of Patreon. I don't know if you know what that is. That's like
I know Patreon.
Patreon is a big deal, right? So obviously that's where they get their money to do this thing. And it's fantastic. But Leland Sklar was just a stitch on the show to watch. Like he brought like the old world of this is how we used to do it while the Wrecking Crew was doing it.
Yeah.
And then you had these young people who were like, well, you didn't start on YouTube, so how did you start? And then you had the young girl who's like, well, I started on YouTube and I went on tour with Britney Spears or whatever,
Yeah.
So, but do it. Go look at Scary Pockets.
I will. Well, Leland Sklar is like one of the greatest bass players, and he, along with Russ Kunkel, who was the drummer, the
Right.
two of them were with James Taylor for, they might have been with him for 30 years, and
Right.
they're back out again with a band called Immediate Family, along with Waddy Wachtel, who also played in those days, and another guy whose name I don't know so well. And I mean, the funny thing about, James Taylor's band is that, Leland and Russ were with him for a long time. And then when he replaced Leland, he got this guy named Jimmy Johnston, not the one that we all know locally, but he's like a young Lee Sklar. Like you can tell,
really?
He's beginning to work on his beard, like, and eventually, it's just going to become that, like he's,
right.
And I mean, those guys, they used to have a band called The Section that, that basically,
right.
Like you said, they were sort of an alternate to the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah. As Wrecking Crew was, because that was a long time ago, as Wrecking Crew started to come down, these guys are like, we'll take that work, we'll play on every record. But what was unique about Leland Sklar maybe not what was unique about him, but a lot of artists will have guys work, or studio cats working on their record, and then they'll train somebody on what they played and go out on tour. But this guy did both, played on the record and toured it.
Well, when he started out with Taylor, he wasn't like Wrecking Crew session guy, in demand guy.
Right.
He grew that through Taylor, like that, and they cross-pollinated with Carole King, and they did all that, that whole group of people, they just have a precision, and I like to use the word when I'm thinking of musicians I really admire as appropriate. Like they do what's appropriate, like what the situation demands, they have it, and they have it instinctively. You don't have to sit there and work on them to say like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Like they're there. Right. Like they just get it. And, session guys are just frigging awesome, whether it's, Memphis or Wrecking Crew. The Wrecking Crew put out a movie, documentary.
Right.
And one of the great guitarists there was a guy named Tommy Tedesco, and I would get in conversations with his son, who was putting together the thing. He was like the legacy. He was the guy that really was keeping the flame going.
Right.
Al Blaine, the drummer who's played on more hits than any.
Right. But the son directed the documentary and does music documentaries. Yeah.
And he gets it. And Tommy the dad used to have a column in Guitar Player magazine that used to crack the shit out of me, where he would just describe sessions he was on. And in those days, you talk about appropriateness, and you talk about preparedness, and you talk about being a fucking professional. And he would show up for a thing, and he's got like, a ukulele, a balalaika, is that like something?
Right.
He's doing like the theme from the TV show Mannix or something, and he's got the appropriate, he's got, like last week we were talking about balalaikas. Remember that? Like,
right. Yeah.
Well, I did get a chance to chime in on this, but I worked at a record store in Koskov that had a 8x10 picture of a balalaika orchestra.
Fantastic.
And, it was like from Russia, but like the bass balalaika, it was like a sandbox. Right. And you guys sound like little balalaikas like this.
Well, think about the basses we use. We got the big upright basses, and we got ukulele basses. It's the same thing,
It's like Barry sax or something like that. Like you're just like, what? Is there a bass sax? Is there such a thing?
There is such a thing, and I'll try to pull up a picture after your next song. They're insane.
There has to be a lot of metal in that thing.
Yeah, they're so heavy you can't carry them. They have to be either up on a pogo stick, or they have to be hung from a chain from the ceiling. And then there's like a contrabass, sub bass or whatever, which is like so big you can't even imagine how big it is. There's little typewriter keys, so, and the linkage is hugely long.
It's bigger than the thing they use in the Ricola commercials. It's
Alpenhorn. That's from where I come from. That's a real thing. Yeah.
Right.
All right, do another song. I'm going to find a picture of some bass saxophone.
Okay, here's a little post-apocalyptic song, which is always one of my favorite themes by Steely Dan, called "King of the World." Hello, one and all. Was it you I used to know? Can't you hear me call? On this old ham radio, all I've got to say, I'm alive and feeling fine. If you come my way, you can share my poison wine. No marigolds in the promised land. There's a hole in the ground where they used to grow. Any man left in the Rio Grande is the king of the world, as far as I know. I don't want your bread. I don't need your helping hand. I can't be no savage. I can't be no highwayman. Show me where you are. You and I will spend the day driving in my car. through the ruins of Santa Fe. No marigolds in the promised land. There's a hole in the ground where they used to grow. Anyone left on the Rio Grande is the king of the world, as far as I know. How Steely Dan-ish, right? Who's counting? It's 8 times. I'm reading last year's papers, although I don't know why. Assassins, cons, and rapers might as well die. If you come around, no more pain and no regrets. Watch the sun go brown, smoking cobalt cigarettes. There's no need to hide, taking things the easy way. If I stay inside, I might live till Saturday. No marigold to the promised land. There's a hole in the ground where they used to grow. Anyone left on the Rio Grande is the king of the world, as far as I know.
Nice.
So Steely Dan.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. You killed that. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Very nice. Check this out.
Whoa.
So that's a bass sax, right? And then check this guy out. So you've got various saxophones, from the straight, Kenny G like soprano sax up front. And then you got altos and tenors and different kinds of tenors. There's a Barry there. The guy's touching a Barry with his left hand. And then there's a bass sax. And then there's some other giant thing. But then check this guy out.
Oh, my God.
Right. I mean, that's almost manageable. You could put that in a Mini Cooper.
That's got to be like, that's got to be like some sort of distant cousin to a tuba.
Exactly. I mean, you could certainly hit the notes of a tuba, except the difference is that this thing has a reed that does the wiggling, and in the tuba, it's your lips.
I mean, on that one you just showed, look at the valves. They're as big as pizzas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's an amazing thing. Or these things, they start to get prohibitively expensive when you get past baritone. Like a good Barry sax. No. A crummy Barry sax will be in the $3,000 range, just because it's so much brass.
If you have the budget, and you can afford a Barry on top of an alto and not an alto, an alto and a tenor. If you can afford that, God, they bring so much to the party. And I think Chrisman has he has an electronic way to sort of emulate that. If he's playing like an alto, he can also add like a splitter and do something like that.
Right. Yeah, like a harmonizer. What do you call it? Yeah,
something like that.
An octaver or whatever that plays the low note.
Yeah, whatever.
But a bass, like you can't play it like it's like having a timpani in an orchestra. You can't play it every minute. You gotta like save it, that low E below it. You gotta be like, all right, we're gonna stop and I'm gonna point to you and you're gonna play. You're gonna go bong, on that low note.
Ironically, it's probably got the same amount of notes on a score as the triangle does,
Right.
It's just that it's that one caesura between this and that, and you do. ting,
But there must be a delay from when you blow that low note until when it actually happens. There must be like you got to get the thing shaking, you know.
I mean, can you imagine like the vibrations that go through, just like, like,
Well, I got my sousaphones. You know, somebody donated a sousaphone to my school, and nobody wanted it. And they're like, "Do you want the sousaphone?" I'm like, I'll be right there. So I went. The only car that was big enough to take it was my Saab convertible, my old Saab convertible.
sousaphone is like a tuba, right?
It's the one that's round that goes around your neck in a marching band, right? So you can put it on your shoulder, the weight of it. And it is a tuba. It's a type of tuba. And it's immensely, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's immensely fun to play it, to figure out the fingering of the low note and then just to go into it. It's just, it shakes the room,
It's not a reed. It's actually it's like a trumpet.
It's like a trumpet. You just go into it. And
which is more, I think that's more difficult. I think there's more, I worked at, again, I worked at the same music store in Cascab where I worked there with Eddie Wright. And on Mondays, the guy who ran the store would go to, Greenwich Academy to do the choral stuff. He ran the choral stuff. So on Mondays, the cats were left to their own. And, we did a lot of school rental, equipment rental,
Sure.
People don't understand music stores. It's not about selling guys Les Pauls. It's about renting sheet music and renting, instruments to terrible musicians, that's what it's about. So Monday was duet day, and we had to play instruments we didn't know how to play. So we would be sitting there. He's in the Greenwich Academy. We're sitting there doing, sorry, Mr. Zavitz, but anyway, we're doing this stuff. And it was so fun to play other instruments and just understand. Like, I have great respect for, violinists. The fretboard is curved. There are no frets. And your right hand does not have to emulate the tempo. Your left hand can dictate the tempo. If you just go languorously with your right hand, it can still come out like, like,
right.
I mean, that's fucking crazy, But I ended up with 2 saxophones because we had a guy who would repair the reeds and do this stuff. He lived in Yonkers, funny ass old man.
Right.
And I took an alto and I took a tenor, and I learned to play scale, and I learned to play one Steely Dan song. I learned to play Night by Night by Steely Dan.
Not easy.
And the problem with this, is really the roommates, because when you're trying to learn how to play the sax, you can't play soft when you suck.
Absolutely.
Playing sucky sax loud sucks when it's in the house.
Right. Yeah, I gotta break out my saxophone. I play too. I used to play with the Blues Patrol. I used to play the sax, and nobody ever sees me play sax, and I'm totally embarrassed to play it.
Right.
But what's cool about a sax is you can learn a couple of neat tricks and go bump 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 bump, and you're like, you sound awesome, but you're like, okay, that's all I know how to do. Is that one thing? Right.
Well, for me, I just want to know this one song, which was basically dun 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 dun. Like, I want to do that.
Right.
And to play a scale. If I could play one scale, and that worked for me.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm in complete awe and of guys who can it was like Dave Sanborn or somebody, Crispin or like guys.
Well, you end up with a callus on your lip. First, that's why I don't take it up. I don't take it up again because like I'm dreading that bleeding lip you have for about a month or two. Seriously, you bleed and you're like, ow, and your lip hurts. It feels like you bit your lip. And if you don't get to that point, you can't even control the thing. Nobody told me that when I bought my first saxophone. So.
Well, to me, there's still, I don't know what the situation is going to be, because now that I'm like at a certain age, like I'm not going to end up in some cabin by myself somewhere where I'm going to be woodshedding on a pedal steel guitar or something,
Right.
The way to go to get to my age. So, if I was doing it at your age, it would have been different, but it was like, when am I going to take some of these things up and get more serious about them? And I guess the answer is maybe never. But
maybe that's the right thing.
maybe do the world a favor, Bill, and
right.
not take these things up.
Look up all your enemies for like, your old roommates who used to play and be like, I'm moving in upstairs and I'm practicing now the saxophone finally in my retirement.
To quote the great Robert Vaughn in one of my favorite movies that I saw when I was 10 years old, The Magnificent Seven, and they're having this like go around about professional guys, gunfighter guys, and they're going like, and they say enemies, and Michael Vaughn and Robert Vaughn goes, none living. Yeah. Well, I'm not quite at that stage, but
Good stuff. Are you going to do a Sting tune?
I am. How did you know that?
Because I watch you. I should tape
you
the
heard me on the
pre-show.
warm-up.
I hear you warming up with the chorus or whatever. And I just watched. Speaking of being locked up in my cabin, I just watched a YouTube video of Sting at some like lifetime achievement concert at the Kennedy Center, or whatever.
Bruno Mars? Is it that one?
I don't know if it's that one, but they got all kinds of famous people to come out and play his songs.
Yes.
And
his 60th, I think it was his 60th birthday, which was, I believe, at Carnegie Hall.
right.
And they had like Lady Gaga doing what I'm about to do. They had, Rufus Wainwright doing Wrapped Around My Finger. Robert Downey Jr. came out and did something. Stevie Wonder came out and did the song Fragile, which I was actually working on for today, but then I got the idea of like the King thing, and I stopped working on it. I even counseled Ed Wright to like get some pointers, because they're like, I'm looking at it like this. What do you think? And he goes, yeah, that's good. And then you did that, but
Right.
that show is, when Stevie Wonder does Fragile, which is an amazingly beautiful song, and he plays harp on it, and if he had just played harp on it, that would have been fine. Then he starts singing on it, and you're like, that's fabulous. Then he takes the vocal up an octave, and Sting has this look on his face, and Sting is just like, oh my God, this guy is so fucking good. And like anyone has to hear that about Stevie Wonder, but still, that is a great, that and the Kennedy Honors of Sting, where Bruno Mars comes out.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars has the register, and he's got the chutzpah to like carry this off. So he does like So Lonely into Message in a Bottle. And when they do Message in the Bottle, they bring out the cast of the show that Sting did on Broadway here in DC.
Right.
They shoot him there. And Sting is almost crying. His wife is next to him going like, I can't believe somebody cracked this guy, and it's so good. And I actually saw that show twice. That's kind of a nerd I am.
Well, I'm going to go watch those. But the video that I saw was the opposite of that. What they did was they took the outtakes whenever Sting had a sour look on his face when he was going like, and then they matched it with the worst moments of the night, and they're like, when Sting watches people butchering his songs, and he was
I saw that.
It's very funny.
In those kind of shows, it's the same show I think that Bruno Mars is on,
right?
Because they have a tendency. Some of this stuff is just put together by the producers / the record company / the whatever, and suddenly you have like, the Backstreet. I'm not going to dump on the Backstreet Boys. That's a bad example, but you have some like, to me, way under the radar pop star
Justin Bieber
song in this thing that should be nothing more than like the girls from Heart doing Stairway to Heaven for Led Zeppelin, or right. Bruno Mars doing. Bruno Mars, who I have admiration beyond admiration for this guy in terms of modern people, unless he's already considered an oldies act. I don't even know.
He's an oldies act, yeah.
But to me, he and Prince, and Prince gets first, but he and Prince were the best shows on the Super Bowl ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Close to me, to those two, to me, but Bruno Mars kills on this.
Yeah.
Thing. He kills. And they have a great band. And it's Rob Mathis, like the local guy from Old Greenwich who is a brilliant musical director,
right?
And worked on Sting's shows too. Ed, you give a guy a little tequila and you start talking about music, and I'm just a happy boy.
There it is. All right, do another song. Do that song. Do the Sting song. And I'll be Sting. I'll be like,
this would be the King of Pain, and you can give me the Sting look because I deserve it, I'm sure. There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday. There's a black hat caught in the high tree top. I can feel Sting's glare right now. There's a little pole peg and the wind won't stop. I have stood before inside the pouring rain, dwindling circles running round my brain. Guess I'm hoping that you'll end this rain and hope and think I'll be the king of pain. Wow, Sting, shoot me. There's a little black spot in the sun today. That's my soul up there. It's the same old thing as yesterday. It's my soul up there. There's a black hat caught in the high tree top. There's a flagpole rag and the wind won't stop. That's my soul up there. Well, I've stood before inside the pouring rain, the world turning circles running round my brain. Guess I'm hoping that you'll end this rain, my destiny to be the king of pain. There's a king on a throne with his eyes torn out. There's a blind man looking for a shadow of doubt. There's a rich man sleeping on a golden bed. There's a skeleton choking on a crust of bread. I'm gonna get a looper so I can solo on these things. Love Sting. There's a red fox torn by the huntman's pack. That's my soul up there. There's a black-winged gull and a broken back. That's my soul up there. There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday. Well, I've stood here before inside the pouring rain, the world turning circles running down my brain. My destiny to be the thin my reign, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. King of pain, I'll always be king of pain. I'll always be king of pain. I'll always be.
I almost did it during the song. I was like, no, because you're going to lose it.
It would have been fine. No,
hey, Steve.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Bill.
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
It sounded just like Sting. It was great.
Right.
You're beyond kind.
So good.
I used to get like, I don't know, at a certain point, I used to get a thing where there's one dear friend of mine from elementary school who passed away. She passed away like last year, but she always used to say, "You look just like Sting," and I was just, "I love you." But I know there's some vague similarity with the same shaped head and no hair or something.
Yeah, you know, I could see it. I could see it. Here we go. Let's see. I could see it a little bit. You know, it's possible.
Golden Thunder, and I talk about the fucking wanker.
I don't know. See, I love Sting. I love him. First of all, when I was in high school, the Police was the big thing, and that was my thing. Like, I was totally into the Police and into Sting. And I love everything he's ever done after that. I swear to you. But that being said, I'm still mad at him for leaving the Police. and being a dick, like being like, all right, I'm going to go off and do my thing because I was the singer, and you guys.
I cannot fault him for that. And you know, it's funny when you talk about like the Sting look. If there are two people that are the Palestine and Israel of human interactions,
Yep.
it's he and Stuart Copeland. Like they do not get along.
That's
And
right.
He hates Stuart Copeland as a drummer. Like hates him. You know, and he went from there to work with, you know, Manu Katché and Vinny Colaiuta, who were like two of the, you know, by anyone's estimation, the greatest drummers of all time. I liked Stuart Copeland because it was just cool. It was like a reggae thing.
Yep. It was cool.
But they actually got back together for a wedding, and I don't know whether Sting ever married Trudy or whatever the hell, but they got back for a wedding, and in like 3 bars, Sting remembered why he blew the whole thing up. He just didn't want to do it. And I mean, I went to Radio City to see that his first solo band, the one that had Brandon Marsalis in it, and it had, I guess it had Vinny. No, I guess it had Manu Katché in it, and it had the 2 great girl singers, and you know, great Kenny Kirkland on piano. You know, great
Yep.
band. And I mean, I never looked back from that. And honestly, I like his solo stuff better than the Police stuff.
Absolutely. But I was like, they're my boys. You know, the 3 of them were like, the Police. They were the Police, for crying out loud. And then Sting was like, I'm leaving. And they didn't disappear into obscurity, but they didn't become Sting, right?
No, and they did. You know, Stewart did a lot of movie stuff. He somehow got hooked up with Francis Ford Coppola, and he did movie stuff.
Right.
And Andy Summers kind of always had that, and he had like photography, and he did whatever. But you know, believe me, they're not for lack of money. They made enough money. They were not in the $100 a night at
That's true. But I've told this story on the air before, but I don't know if you've heard it. But I have a student who writes. She's an electronic musician. She's graduated now, and very talented electronic musician, but she has no formal training in music theory. She just does everything like how she feels it, and with samples and loops and whatever. It's very, very different. And I said, where do you get your inspiration? Let's talk about inspirations. And she was like, I don't listen to music in recordings or Spotify. I go, well, how do you listen to music? She goes, video games. 100% of the music she listened to were video game soundtracks. And I said, well, it's weird because one of the songs that you wrote, the drumming reminds me of a guy that used to be in a band called The Police, and she glazes over like, okay, old guy with your old band called The Police, right? And so I'm talking about Stuart Copeland, and I pull up a video of him, and I show what he does, and she goes, I can see it a little bit, but not really. That guy sucks. And the guy who does the video game is awesome, right? She goes home, she checks the video game. It's Stuart Copeland doing the video game.
And there, big props for Teach, who's got ears. You know,
there you go.
And ears.
And she was amazed. She was like, how did you know who that was? I thought you didn't know video games. I go, I've never played a video game in my life, but you know, I'm glad you're getting Stuart Copeland in your ears. You know?
I buy this magazine and I buy it really once a year when they have a music issue, and it's a magazine called Oxford American. Comes out of the South. I don't know, Oxford, Mississippi, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But it's a literary magazine. Yes, kids, it's a magazine that has paper, and I actually open it and I look at it like that.
Right.
And it comes with a CD too, which normally their yearly issue is focused on a state. So it'll be like Tennessee, but it'll run from like Field Hollers to like, you know, like a band like Alabama Shakes or something. Like it'll go the whole gambit of everything, blues and everything in between. The issue of this month or this year, which I pre-ordered and it came in the mail and I loved it. I've just gotten so much mileage out of reading some of these articles. But the one thing that cracks me up, and I was talking to Crispin about it this afternoon. Crispin's from Detroit. A lot of shit happened in Detroit, and you know he knows a lot of stuff. And at the beginning of "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" by Marvin and Tammy, the great fucking
right.
song. You know, like there's this little like rim shot thing, and in this article they're talking about a guy named Johnny Bristol who had like a small career. He had this one song that a lot of people think is Barry White, but it was actually him before Barry White. But it turns out I read the article and I'm like, oh my God, he played that as a guide for the drummer, and they kept it in the recording, like right at the very beginning of the song. There's like, you know, and then it goes into the song.
Right.
And it was something Crispin didn't know. I was so happy. Like I actually told him something he didn't know, because he has like firsthand anecdotal knowledge of anything that happened in music from 1968 to now, you know.
Right. And for those of you who don't know, Chris Pensio, a fantastic saxophone player, toured with the Stones, and who else did he tour with?
Toured with the Stones, toured with Jay Giles, toured with Aerosmith.
Yeah, like, you know, one of those guys, you know, amazing.
Played on James Brown's Comeback album. Played on, you know, I mean, was requested by Lou Gramm to play at the Oyster Festival on the song Urgent or whatever, you know, like wanted him to come because we had a gig with me and Roayton, so we had to do that, and they hustled him back to my thing to make my gig too. But I mean, funny guy, lives in Westport, you know, but. You know, been there, played a lot of the great shows with like David Johansen, like the Buster Poindexter stuff. Right. Which is so fucking funny, like their thing, and played on, you know, Johnny Carson with them. You know, played gigs. You know.
Yeah, right. Chris Pensio, yeah. And with Bill Nolan at the Horseshoe Cafe when the pandemic's over again.
You know, he can put that on his CD. He has played quite often with Bill Nolan for the price of a sandwich.
Living in America, man. Living in America. He goes off.
He played on that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Was him,
it was sweet.
Yeah, and, you know, played these guys, you know, funny guys that, you know, Dan Hartman and you know, like, you know, very funny. And the funny thing about it is, like, you can go deep. You know, I can be referencing, you know, my tastes run very deep, and I will reference something goes, oh, yeah, I played them at the Lone Star Roadhouse. You know, it's just like, you know, funny as shit, man. You know,
it's great.
Well, he was the go-to guy, and you know, your sphere of influence as a musician is only as small or large as you make it. And Crispin was like, "Oh, I saw you at the Stones. You want to fly out and play with whatever?" He was that go-to guy for all kinds of stuff.
I mean, that story, I won't, you know, this will be more for the beginning of a show, but I will tell you at some time the story about how he ended up on the Steel Wheels tour for the Stones. And it is a classic story that involves things like reference tapes on cassette that are delivered by messengers. People
right.
Like, okay, you know, shed this a little and da-da-da-da. And they're like, we kind of already know this shit. And then a rehearsal space at Nassau Coliseum. Like, it's just like, you know, it's like, you know, you can say it's a bygone era, but, you know, Crispin and I, you know, we were talking today, and we talk quite often, and we talk, you know, we're like girly girl talk, like we talk for like hours, you know, and, you know, he's very cautious, you know, he's very cautious in these times, and we are just dying to get back. I had to do the Christmas show without him. I had to do a bunch of things without him, and we're dying to get back into it with him, but, you know, whenever the time is right, that's all good.
Hopefully in the spring, man.
Yeah,
hopefully this Omicron thing just blows through quick and fast, but it's not done yet. That's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What does our medical correspondent Steve say?
I have nothing new to share.
Oh my God, neither do I. Everybody is going crazy now, you know. But
you know, listen to Fauci and listen to Walensky and hear what they have to say, and you know, watch.
I hope you can get a rapid test and get vaccinated and boosted.
You know. They're getting fourth vaccines in Israel.
Right? Oh my God, fourth. It's just going to be every 6 months we're going to need a new whatever, and you know, unfortunately,
well,
forever.
I mean, my daughter has been vaxxed, boosted, and she's had it twice, COVID. And I think that's what's going to end up happening is you're going to get it. It just won't be as severe, right? It won't kill you.
Well,
And ideally, your body will start to build up its own immunity. You won't need to keep getting vaccines. I don't know. I
think we're going to have a moment in time when there's going to be perspective and context and a step back historically, and we're going to look at this moment in time. We're going to realize that vaccine, good, booster, good, do this good. There will always be mathematical anomalies to anything because that's what fucking science is.
But your kids will have to get vaccinated to go to school, right? For me, my wife has been hesitant to get them vaccinated because the school doesn't require it. And now that New York State allows it, I mean, we're getting them on Saturday, right? Yeah. So For me, it would make, I think, a lot of it, everybody's life better if they just mandated. They have to have certain immunizations to get into school now.
You know, my
right?
daughter,
You have to have them. It's not optional.
Right.
My daughter's 24, and I mean, you know, her group, her circle of people, they've all had it. They've all, you know, they get it. But it's not severe. You know, yes, if there's 100 people, yes, 3 people get it severe, or maybe it's more than that. I don't know what it is, but it's not like it was in the first go round of this.
Yeah,
where
right.
Tens of thousands of
out
people
in
in New York in weeks.
trailers
Yeah.
outside of
Remember-
hospitals.
Exactly.
Remember, there are no
Exactly.
refrigerator trucks outside of
Oh.
hospitals, and there's no tent in Grand Central.
Bring out your dead.
Central Park.
Put your
Yeah.
dead out.
But
of
I'm
the-
not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
This
Oh
is-
my God.
This is a different. Right now, we're in a different animal. We all have a little bit of PTSD from all the shock of all this.
Yes, that's
I
for
was
sure.
just having fun starting to get out again, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you bring me back in.
You bring me back in, you know. It's gonna cause migration south because all of us living in the Northeast are gonna go, fuck it, I'm not gonna spend my winters up north and get sick. I'm gonna stay down south and stay outside. And
Yeah, I got news for the people who are migrating down south. If you think that's the place to go and not get it, think again.
yeah,
Yeah,
You know, because at least up north, you know, we may not be all that in a cup of milk, but the fact is, at least we understand that vaccines, you know, inoculations, all this stuff, that's cool. You know, like, you know, our governors are not fighting that fucking thing. You know, it's
well,
like,
yeah, and you can get it. You know, there's no questions asked, and it doesn't matter if you have
Florida?
insurance or
Like,
not. Just come.
Florida, you're going to go down to Florida?
No, but you know what? I'll go down to Florida on my boat and stay there and be like, I can be an island. A man can be an island. I can be on my boat, like out on a little sandbar, and that's it. I'm not going to go see anybody.
As the Jefferson Airplane said, no man is an island. He's a peninsula. You know, there you go.
All right, Bill, do one more. Would
One
you?
more King song
You sounded great tonight,
from the
Bill.
band.
Give me King Harvest, yay!
King Harvest is correct.
I'm gonna play along.
Corn in the fields, listen to the rice in the wind blows across the water. King Harvest, sure they come. I work for the union, 'cause she's so good to me. And I'm bound to come out top. That's where she said I should be. I will hear every word that my boss might say. He's the one who hands me down my pay. Looks like time I'm gonna get to stay. I'm a union man all the way. Smell of the leaves and the magnolia trees in the window. King Harvest is surely come. Dried summer, then last fall. My profile is nothing low. Hey, Rainmaker, won't you hear my call? Please let these crops grow tall. Long enough I've been up on Skid Row. Plain to see I got nothing to show. Glad I don't pay those union dues. Just don't judge me by my shoes. Scarecrow, yellow moon, and pretty soon the carnival on the edge of town. King Harvest has surely come. Last year, time was no joke. My whole barn went up in smoke. My hawk Jethro, well, he went mad. I can't remember things being so bad. There comes this man with a paper and pen, telling us hard times about to end. And then they say don't give us what they like. He said that's when we go on strike. Corn in the fields, listen to the rice and the wind blow through the meadow. King harvest is surely come. I would love to play the solo on that. That's the fade out. Should I invest in a looper? I don't know. Sometimes
Get a looper. I got one, and I played with it every day for a month, and then I got to other stuff, and that's it.
Sometimes I just feel like soloing, and I can't. You know,
That's one of the few songs I can actually sing and play bass on. So next time when we ever get together, Bill, I can't wait to do that with you. That's a great one.
Singing and playing bass is not easy.
It's not. It's not. I can do some harmonies sometimes, but you really got to dumb down the bass line to do any singing. I mean, I sometimes think that left-handed bass players might have an easier time of it. I don't know how the brain is wired, but it seems like. But you know, I've listened to them, and they all say, "No, you just got to practice." And guess what?
That came out in your out loud voice, Jimmy. I don't know if you know that, but that was actually in the loud voice. Somehow it's different for lefties than it for right.
And you'll have to agree with this. Playing keyboards and singing at the same time, it's truly a gift. There's different sides of the brain working at the same time. You know, a great keyboard player is focusing on his keyboards, not on his voice. And a great vocalist is focusing on their voice. They're not focusing on their keyboards. And then when you watch the real guys do this stuff,
you got to wake up in the morning wanting to sing a song. I never did. Yeah. See, I never I could sing. I could sing. I used to run jams 3 times a week. I had an opportunity to sing all I wanted to, and probably better than some of the singers that were there, but I didn't want to. Like, I was like, I
want to. I love to sing. I was in the Glee Club as a kid. And
I sang as a kid. I was in the choir of the Glee Club.
If there's another bass player in the room, I'll let him play and I'll sing. I love to sing.
Well, that's the plan when we get the jam going again one of these days.
Yes.
And, you know, everybody has been bugging me for months. Like, why are you waiting to get the jam together? And, of course, Bobby passed away from Bobby Q, so it meant figuring out a whole new thing, and COVID was strange, and maybe it come back.
So Ed, you realize, of course, you're really fucking bad luck, right? Because everywhere we play the jam, somebody's going to die.
Exactly, right. You know, so I don't know what to do. You know,
collaborative music videos. It's winter. Come on, let's get on top of it here, Ed.
That's right. That's right. Winston is actually working on one of his extravaganzas right now, and there will be collaborative videos. I mean, I said yes when it gets cold. It's cold as shit out here, so
we're gonna get a storm tomorrow. They got caught unawares here yesterday. I mean, ice storm in the morning, and
yeah, I know, crazy.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Lots of car accidents.
Usually that doesn't happen. They know it's coming. They brine the roads, and there's no problem. This time it was like everybody. Almost like they wanted to have it happen.
I saw the ice thing, you know, on the scroll on the bottom of, you know, the screen, and I saw it, and you know, it's just I just basically poo-poo a lot of this stuff because A, they're wrong all the time, and B, it has a tendency to rarely
get a coating eyes like that.
Expectation. That fucking ice storm, I had a different story. That was like, you know, the only thing that we were missing there was the key party, like in New Canaan, where we swapped wives. You know, that was the only thing.
That was a great movie.
A great reference. Yeah.
You know, basically, it warmed up by about 10 o'clock. It had turned into rain, and it got to like 34, 35 degrees, and it was okay. But I'm out there. I'm taking my daughter's dog out. The first thing he does, takes 2 steps off the thing, falls on his ass. And like, you know, dogs have no concept of like, why did they fall on their ass? Like what
so they get back up and fall on their ass again.
It's crazy. And I say to my wife, who she works literally 150 yards away from where we live, and I say to her, I say, you got to like, you know, hold on to the wall as you're going down, or do something, you know. And she gives me this look like, you know, fuck you, you know. And she goes down and she literally gets into like this gidget pose and like goes down the bottom of the driveway, ends up in the middle of Silver Mine Road, but didn't fall down. I would have been down. There's no question.
Me too.
I would have been anticipating going down. But then, you know, like in an hour, it was kind of gone, and then that was that. But it was real, man. That was
real.
That was
real. Everybody wrote me out here. I'm in Pennsylvania. Everybody wrote me, and they're like, if it was bad here, it must have been really bad there. I go, I don't know. The sun was out. There wasn't any moisture. It was nothing. Right.
I work from home, so the worst for me was I walk out the back door. I could see the ice. I wasn't fool enough to, I went back inside, hit it with a little salt. Because I mean, and then you start seeing what's happening on the parkways. Sawmill was a mess, and
the hutch and everything, like huge pileups.
Yeah,
no good.
It was a mess.
No, it was not. It wasn't worth to go out unless you had to.
But you would think we haven't had any storms. These guys would have been itching for some overtime. They would have brined the roads. Somebody said there might be ice. Get out there! But no.
So when you have an ice storm, pre-salting the roads it's not effective.
No.
Salting's effective for snow, but it's not effective for ice.
Oh well.
Well, I lived for 25 years on a dead-end street in Rowayton, and we were literally the last people to get anything done. Now I live on Silver Mine Avenue, which is like sort of a main drag in a way. And normally, like Norwalk is there, they're there when there are trace elements of like snow. Like they're there, they're there like plowing when there is nothing to plow, and they're still plowing. Like they're doing it in this thing. And I guess this is because salting isn't. I thought that salting would work here, but. Or salt sand, they used to put out salt sand sometimes, and that at least gives you a little grit on something that But I was watching guys.
It gives ice a grit to stick to, so that when the ice builds up, it has all the sand at the bottom.
Yeah, no good.
It reminded me very much of. I remember being in Shreveport, Louisiana once. I was there for business, and they get an ice storm like that. It was like a quarter inch of ice. It shut the place down because they don't have any salt, sand. We were stuck there for 3 days waiting for it to melt because they had a cold snap, and that was it. That's all
I hate Shreveport. I got stuck in Shreveport too on my motorcycle when I was going out west.
They have those casinos that are riverboat casinos, and it was like within walking distance of the hotel. Well, guess where I spent?
How much you lose in Shreveport?
No, I won $1,000, and I was like, "Get me out of here before I lose it!" And
greatest storm of all time.
One more day, and it was gone.
Oh no!
What's funny about Louisiana is that weather is such an issue there that they literally, once Glasnost hit and we no longer had Russia to fight, before we became their ally, but when you would sit there and watch like the evening news, the weather part would be like 40% of the news, and they would be going parish by parish. And it was like, in St. John's Parish, hail. And in so-and-so parish, it's 80 degrees. And in this parish, it's like something else. I went down there for Final Four, and it went from 80 to 40 in temperature. Like 80 to 40 in a day, and it was like, that was not what I was prepared for.
How do you pack for that?
Well, it's funny you should say that. That's what happened to me in Shreveport. I was riding up into Shreveport, and there was a huge band of rain, 1,000 miles wide, that went like from Houston and it flooded Houston. So I was like, all right, I'll just go around it. So I went north up to Shreveport, and I'm on the way to Shreveport, and I'm watching this thunderstorm coming, and it gonna cross the road, and I have my rain gear on and whatever, so I'm totally waterproof, and I'm riding along, and it started to rain, and it was 80 degrees, and the water out of the storm was 32 degrees, and I went from being overheated to suddenly like frozen like an ice block riding down the highway going, oh my God, what's happening here? And then I ran out of gas, so that stuck me in Shreveport for a while, but anyway.
Shreveport sounds like a tune.
I hated Shreveport. I ran out of gas because I was trying to get there. I was doing everything I could to survive this icy cold water, and I finally got there, and I was like, I forgot to pull over and get gas, and I ended up stuck on the side of the road. And some local guy comes over, and he's like, you don't want to be stuck in Shreveport. This is a bad place. He was like, I'm like, where are you from? He goes, Shreveport. This is a bad place. You don't want to be here. He took me for gas. So,
nice guy.
Hey, Bill, do you have one more song in you?
I do. I mean, I have a million more songs in me, but I just, all this talk about Louisiana makes me want to do a song that I have about Louisiana that's kind of funny.
I don't know.
I want to go down there right now. I want to go down there and have, jambalaya and whatnot. And
I went
Go
down
the
there a
hog's
few times.
breath in, and
I used to go to, you would go down there, and there's this place called the Cafe Napoleon. You would go there, and it was, it's in the quarter, and man, it was like, I think it's where like Tennessee Williams wrote, Streetcar or something like that, but it's one of these places, you go there for like a Dixie beer and a muffalata, and you just feel like, damn, this is correct, like where I am.
oh yeah.
So this is a song Randy Newman wrote that's about a flood in 1927. What has happened down here as the rains have changed? Cause roll in the north, and it started to rain. Rain real hard and it rained for a real long time. 6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline. The river rose all day, the river rose all night. Some people got lost in the flood, some people got away all right. River busted down clear to the Plaquemines. 6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline. Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. President Coolidge come down on a railroad train with a fat little man with a notebook in his hand. Little fat man, well, ain't it a shame what this river has done to this poor old cracker's land? Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. Trying to wash us away. Trying to wash us away.
Nice.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. You know what that made me think of? I just finished reading Neil Stephenson's new book, Termination Shock, which is all about global warming and the oceans rising, and this crazy Texan comes up with an idea to try to turn things around. And instead of just doing it on his own, he engages with people in countries that are dealing with seawater rise, like the Netherlands and Venice. And anyway, it was a sick book and great song. The water's rising, and there's a story in the Netherlands in 1953. They got badly flooded, and everyone knows there you need to keep an axe in your attic, because if the water rises and it keeps coming, that's your only way out. That was one of the and everybody from the Netherlands knows that. Everyone keeps an axe in their attic.
What, you mean a guitar or like a...
No, yeah. I don't think that's going to help you.
Get up on the roof and play for your life,
It's like the Titanic.
Yeah, the Netherlands. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a country underwater, basically. They pumping the water out to keep it above,
Right.
Kind of like downtown New York. And
in Rotterdam, they have this giant mechanical arm they've built that, it closes and basically blocks them off from the sea. And it's giant, and it takes hours to close and open. And they only
But that, I never really understood. That's not global warming. They built it in the valley in the Netherlands, right?
They did.
And same with Louisiana. Like, what are they doing? They build a city under the lake, like
Venice, and yes, there are places where civilization.
they're like, boy, that would make some great waterfront property. It's like, yeah, but it's in the water. Why would we do
What's more waterfront than that?
exactly more waterfront? I have a place up in Nova Scotia that I haven't been to since the pandemic started. If it's still there, I wonder. But, the tides there are 30 feet twice a day. The tide goes up and down 30 feet. So people are like, aren't you worried about flooding? I'm like, I don't know. No, I'm on stilts. I'm 20 feet above the water, and the water goes out, a quarter mile when the tide goes out. So you deal with that. But anyway, Louisiana, the music in Lafayette, Louisiana in particular, I just absolutely loved. Zydeco and the Cajun music and the, Irish influence, French influence, fantastic.
The beauty of any place that's worth going to in this world is basically food and music, and if you've got that, you've got
them both.
You've got a pretty good start. And like Louisiana too, it's just like, Africa and, everything else, and it goes up the Mississippi and ends up in, Kansas City, and you get blues and all that in Chicago. And, it's like,
that's right.
I'd go over there for a week and I'd come back 12 pounds heavier.
That's it. That's it. The funny thing is, I thought that when I went to Louisiana, I thought that I would see the Gulf. I thought that I would be like, oh, there's the boat like on Forrest Gump, and they're going out. You don't get to see the Gulf because
unless you go on a boat ride, and I did once.
Yes, between civilization, like New Orleans is 100 miles inland. You think it's on the coast, but it's all just marshy bayous and muddy water.
River Delta, baby.
Right, exactly. And so when you go to Lafayette, Louisiana, they're like, oh yeah, that we're on the Gulf here, supposedly, but there's creeks that are muddy where they raise the crawfish and whatnot. But the fishing boats have to go out 100 miles out down the Mississippi River, down the rivers. They go way out. There's no beaches. You do not see a beach.
I always loved like the New Orleans Marathon, which is literally just starting on one end of Lake Pontchartrain and ending up at the other. Like the whole marathon is on a bridge, basically going across a 26-mile river. I mean,
right.
Lake rather. It's like pretty funny.
Speaking of pretty funny, Sherry.
Sherry.
I came on
Sherry.
to fight.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You came on. What'd you come on for?
To fight.
You came on to fight. Yes, because I called the show a sausage fest, and that was directed at you. Like
I know it was. I was like, you know what? I wasn't even gonna log on tonight, and I was sitting there like laying on the couch, scrolling through my phone, and I see Noise and Boys Sausage Festival, and I said, "That's it. Let me get my laptop."
That was it.
He goaded you into coming on. It worked.
That was the challenge, because we used to get you, and we get Dale Allen, and we get Heidi would come on, and Holly would come on, and
where is Heidi? I know she's watching the show, Heidi.
Yeah, I'm sure she's watching the show.
On,
why isn't she coming on? I don't know. Like, obviously we said something terrible once about women or something, and nobody.
I might have missed that episode.
Okay, you. Obviously, Bill Nolan said something terrible.
That is not likely to happen.
Not me. No. Put the woman in charge.
All right, fine. It's my watch. I'll take responsibility for whatever.
Sure. I don't know. I think Jimmy McGuire's been up to something.
That could be. So how you doing, Sherry?
I'm good. I'm just chilling. I'm tired. At like 5 o'clock or whatever, or whenever you send it, I get their green room invitation. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to log on Edge.
Hour later, you're like...
Exactly.
Then you have dinner, glass of wine.
Oh my God. It's 8. It's like 7:30. It feels like midnight. I'm like, oh God. All right. I'm on. Now I'm on. I'm in. And like, nothing personal to Bill Nolan here. He gets all set up. He gets the microphone and the speakers. And I'm like, pajamas is all you guys are going to get out of me.
There you
I
go.
have no idea what I'm wearing underneath this shirt.
Just don't
Bill's
see it.
smart. He's always the first guy in the show. And so if the show goes long, he's always, his night is done early, usually, right, Bill?
Just don't stand up, Bill, because we have no evidence that you're actually wearing pants.
Uh-oh.
I have pants. I'm wearing
It's the
pants.
pants challenge.
It's the first time ever,
I have pants on, I promise.
Gotta show it.
But sweatpants. Sweatpants are the new pajamas.
Yeah, true.
At the risk
I went
of
outside.
whoever listens to this thing, I don't wear pajamas.
Like I can't.
There you go.
Though, like I can't be in my living room and like dressed up, wearing makeup, anything like that. This is it. This is what you guys get.
That's it. We'll take it. We'll take it. We're there.
This has been set up by some sort of makeup artist.
Yeah, whoever does your makeup, Bill, is fantastic.
Fantastic, right?
I fired 3 or 4 people during the course of this show because God, they just didn't bring me to that.
Yeah, no, their skin was too shiny and
That's
whatever.
a social
They
media
gave me Brad Pitt,
influencer, you
and they
know.
didn't give me Brad Pitt. You know.
Yeah. Here comes the other boy in the band. Dave's camera shy. He's here.
Bass player.
Hey, Dave.
Got to get our bass players out. Where's Dave?
Hi, Dave.
Take your head in the frame. Let me see.
He's here.
He's not there. There he is. Oh my God.
There he
How you
is.
doing?
Hey, Dave.
How are you?
Yeah, I had to go on
Hey,
and
Dave.
break. He called this the Noise and Boys Sausage Fest.
Oh,
So I was like, I'm going to show them.
That was,
Oh, speaking of which, look who's here. Come here.
Who's there? Oh, Bob.
Come here.
Who have I got? No,
it's
I got
cat
nobody.
time.
I got nobody. I got to get a cat. Hold on. I'm getting a cat.
Go
Yeah,
get that. Bob's out. Bob's like, forget it.
I have no animals here.
Love
There he
to
is.
eat them mousies.
It's the
Mousies
pick.
are
Oh.
what we love to
Hey.
eat.
There we go.
Like they
He's
do
like,
it.
I was sleeping. Why are you waking me up? Where's Bob?
Come up. Let's
Where's Bob?
see him.
Pick. Look, Bob.
Bob.
Look, pick Bob. There he is.
Look, there's a cat.
All right.
in the screen.
Go on. Go back to sleep.
Yeah.
He's a good sport.
We've got
That cat's a
little
good
turtle,
sport.
and my wife will put on little turtle videos and put it on. Oh, he loves them.
Yeah, we have TV hour when they take over the bed, especially when I'm on the show. They take over the bed, and then I go in there and turn on Birds for Cats, and we sit and watch Birds for Cats for half an hour, and then they
Do they
leave.
go crazy watching it?
They love Bird for Cats, especially the little one. So my TV is up by the ceiling, right? So the bed's pretty high up, and the TV's up by the ceiling. The little cat reaches from the bed to the top of the TV. He's giant, like he's 4 feet long already or something. He's crazy.
And by little cat, you mean Blinker, who's probably now
Right,
been-
the little one is the giant one now. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's nice to see Bob.
Yeah.
Are you gonna-
chilling.
You gonna play something for us, Sherry?
I can, but I need to get.
All right, you get organized. You want to do one more, Bill Nolan, or do you want to go and have your tuna steak off the grill?
Well, I am going to eat after this, but
Come on, do one more for us.
If you're looking to pad,
Why not? Give Cherry a chance to get some together.
Say he was born on a summer day, 1951. With the slap of a hand, he had landed as the only son. His mother and father said, what a lovely boy, let's teach him what we learned. Yes, and what we learned, let's dress him up warm and ready for school. Teach him how to fight and be nobody's fool. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. In the summer of 53, his mother brought him a sister. She told him we must attend to her needs. She's so much younger than you. Well, he ran down the hall and he cried. Oh, how could his parents have lied? Oh, they said he was the only son. He thought he was the only one. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Goodbye, mama. Goodbye to you. by Papa. I'm pushing on through. He left home on a winter day in 1969, and he hoped to find all of the love lost in an earlier time. Well, his sister grew up, she married a man, gave her a son, yes, a lovely son. They dressed him with warmth and they took him to school, taught him how to fight, nobody's fool. Oh, lonely boy. Whoa, what a lonely boy. Whoa, what a lonely boy. I said, oh, lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy.
Nice.
And
There it is.
I had fun playing along. That was excellent, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great song.
Really good. Where's Dave? Where's Dave Platt? I saw him with his red hat and his headphones. What's going on with his glasses? What was that?
He went to make coffee. Would anyone
There you
like some?
Yes, please.
Sherry, I'm
got a
going
2-hour
to go
delay
eat
tomorrow. I
dinner,
can sleep.
but I will listen to you afterwards. Please do
Wait,
not
what?
take that as any
Yeah,
editorial
go ahead.
comment or anything else. It's like, you know.
I only came on to fight Ed, so.
Exactly.
And
Bring it.
thank you for staying late, Bill. Beautiful thing.
No, I mean, I don't know, but now I'm hungry.
Go get it, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
You earned it.
Bill Norman, thanks for coming in. Good to see you, and I'll see you next week. All right.
Week 120 or whatever the fuck it
A
is.
bientôt.
I know, right?
Exactly.
I know we're gonna make 100, and Betty White didn't make 100.
Oh my God, you're right. Betty White.
Yeah, that's so sad.
We
She was
lost Betty
great,
White.
though.
Was she famous for a song or anything? Did she have a song that she did? No.
I don't think so, but that's good. It's good trivia. We gotta look.
She
that up.
did sing though. I remember her singing songs. I don't remember where I saw that.
She was the great because she didn't bother. You know, she was the butt of the joke and she loved it. And I don't know. For me, she was just cool, right? She
Yeah.
was aged and stayed relevant through her whole life. I mean, that's pretty cool.
You know, she was like, you know, entertainers of that day, you know, knew how to do everything. They knew how to sing, they knew how to dance, they knew how to play instruments, whatever. But but you know, she's not like Dean Martin. Like I recall him doing, not recall, I mean, I've seen videos of him doing all those things. But like Betty White, they called her the first lady of television because that's really
The
she
sitcom
did.
queen.
What'd you say?
The sitcom queen.
Sitcom queen.
Yeah. Oh my God! So I posted a blooper reel on my Facebook page today. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. It's
I have not. I want to see that.
you'll cry laughing. It's so
Check it out.
funny. Anyway.
So there was a red hat and glasses memo. Not everybody got it, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah, I got it.
Dave randomly got it.
Red
just
hat
happened
and
to be wearing
glasses.
a
I
red
got
hat.
glasses, but I don't know red hat.
You gotta have a red hat backwards and glasses. Like, I don't know.
Wait, hang on.
Either we're just both cool or you're mocking me. One or the other.
No, it's
He's like, I'm gonna go on dressed.
This
as
is
a
not
train.
quite
You
red,
notice
but can
here,
I get away with it?
I got glasses.
it's
There you
it's the former. I don't have the energy to mock anybody.
I don't know.
Puts me in the
Sorry,
car
no
today. He's
red
like,
hat.
I'm gonna go on dressed as Ed Train and see if Ed notices.
I'm
There you
kind
go.
of I'm kind of red averse, Ed, because you know I'm a Yankees fan, so it's mostly midnight blue.
That's true.
All right,
I don't wear red.
Jimmy, next week, Yankee jersey night.
Yankee jerseys next week.
I got
Yankee
one.
jersey, and I also have my Yankee holidays.
All right, that's the plan next week. Except mine is not Red Sox, right? Mine is Krusty the Krab, right?
That's
Nice.
cool.
Cool.
And I'm sure, like, if I went upstairs, my kids have both done softball. I'm sure I could find a red cap. You know,
I could if I went through my brother's closet. So my brother collects baseball caps, right? Like he's a big baseball fan. He's a big sports fan. So he has caps from like baseball teams, basketball teams, like whatever, football teams, whatever. And one time, like, just to annoy his wife, he decorated the Christmas tree by hanging all of his hats on. It actually looked pretty cool. I'll have to see if I can get a picture of it.
How long did that last? The tree, not the marriage, like the tree.
Oh, the tree. Well, the marriage is going well so far.
Good. The tree, not so much. All right, what are you going to do for us, Sherry?
Okay. Dave, just because this gives Dave a panic attack every time I'm like, I'm going to go on and play a song I've never played before.
All right, I'm ready.
That's what I do. This is All Through the Night from Cyndi Lauper. I like save tabs and chord sheets in my iPad, and I'm like, and then I never get to it, and I'm like, oh, I haven't tried this. All right, here we go. All through the night, I'll be awake and I'll be with you. All through the night, this precious time, and time is new. Oh, all through the night today, knowing that we feel the same without saying. There's a Jenny Lynn and a Dalek. Nice. I couldn't ask for a better audience than that. We have no past, we won't reach back. With me forward all through the night, and once we start, the meter clicks and it goes running all through the night until it ends. There is no end. I'm scrolling. All through the night, stray cat is crying, so stray cat sings back. All through the night, they have forgotten what binding they lack. Oh, under a white street
Yes.
That's fun.
Oh yeah, that was definitely fun.
Cyndi Lauper. What's she doing? Was she on Broadway? Did she have a Broadway show?
Kinky Boots.
Did
Yes.
she, was she in that? Or did she write that?
She might have written it. The music.
Right.
Yeah. And I saw her. I saw her at Mohegan Sun on New Year's Eve, maybe 2013 or 2014, and she was so good. She like came off the stage and was like letting people take selfies with her in the audience, and she went up like not only to the first couple of rows, she went through the entire floor section. Then she walked up the stairs into like the
Wow.
first like section. So she has a blues album, which is kind of cool, which I didn't know until I saw her in that concert. And she played a whole bunch of blues songs, and then she goes, I bet you guys want to hear some of the old stuff now. And she's like, but actually the stuff I just played for you is older than my old stuff.
Right. That's true.
It's the stuff that's probably the stuff she loves the most. It's stuff she did before she got popular, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, like, I don't know. I get the feeling that she was like a pop singer and then learned like the blues and
Blues.
I don't know.
They
it's hard
probably
to
fell
say.
in love with it, but anyway.
Because she's so talented, and she did True Colors on a dulcimer that night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Sick.
she's just really good. Yeah, she
That's
was
pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a fan. I used to listen to a lot of Cyndi Lauper. We covered her in our band in Colorado, and
Yeah, she's fun.
She is fun. She did Celebrity Apprentice one season. Did you? I don't know if anybody.
no,
caught
she
that.
did.
Yeah. And
How did that go?
It was. I tell you what, she was the most professional out of anyone there, and you know how like they all like to throw each other under the bus, right?
She's got
Because-
chutzpah, right? You
She
can tell.
does. And I don't remember if it was actually Donald Trump or if it was someone else on the show, but they were questioning something she did or giving her some sort of critique. And she's like, you know what? She said, I've toured the world. I've got hit records that I'm still making royalties off of. You know, I've been pretty successful. I think you ought to really think twice before you start telling me, you know, what's up. I mean,
Right.
she's a tough chick.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Is she
You know,
from?
she did the ditzy thing for a while, but there's nothing ditzy about her.
No.
It was all an act.
She's
Girls
got a
who
little
don't
more
have fun
Joan
or
Rivers in
whatever.
her.
What?
She's got a little bit of Joan Rivers in her. She's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's got a little chutzpah.
But it's cool that she, you know, to some extent, she needed to create a character that she could go out as because she couldn't go out as herself for some reason. There was like,
Lady Gaga also
right.
had to do the same.
Right, you're just gonna be another in a field of vocalists, whatever. You gotta have a shtick,
Got to stand out.
and then once you got your shtick, go do whatever you want. You know, and then you've arrived.
Yeah. Well, and that was what my theory on Miley Cyrus is. She had to have. So you're like, I think I've said this before, but like, so Miley Cyrus, you know, she was Hannah Montana, and then she goes through this crazy phase, and she's on a wrecking ball, and she's twerking, and oh my God, she's out of control, right? And then she's Miley Cyrus, and like, wow, did you hear her sing Jolene and this and
Because Hannah Montana would never have gone on the wrecking ball. She needed to like
that? Exactly.
arrive. Yep.
That was my point. And I was like, did you ever notice that Miley Cyrus's wild phase was only on stage in front of cameras? She didn't get arrested.
Yeah, she wasn't a bad girl.
wasn't like
It was
in a
made
bar
for TV.
Then you get Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay.
No, that's for real.
Yeah. That woman has real mugshots and you know, crack history and all that stuff. But like Miley Cyrus, it was all in front of a television camera with her dad, and everyone was like, "Oh, Miley," and like she needed that crazy period so she could turn over a new leaf and now be this like wonderful singer. And she couldn't go through life as Hannah Montana. It would never.
Well, yeah. How many of those? I mean, you think of the people that they're young and they make it on Disney. You know, it's like, where do you go from there, right?
Yeah, you have to
you
go
either
back
go
to that.
crazy or you create a different persona, right? I mean,
Well, right.
Otherwise, you're always recognized as that Disney kid. Britney, Justin
Yeah.
Timberlake.
Yeah, exactly.
Alanis Morissette. So Alanis Morissette, right? So she's this angsty 20-something, angry little Canadian songwriter, right? She spent her childhood on You Can't Do That on Television, which was like a Canadian broadcast kids comedy variety show kind of thing. And, you know, so you grew up probably pretty privileged, and your job was to make people laugh, and then you come back, you know, 8 years later as like this angry, like, person, you know. And I mean, look, her music was good, and
It was.
and again, she had the persona, but
She had the edge. That was
Yeah.
well, that was the thing. She reinvented herself, and it worked for her. You know, God bless him. You know,
That's right.
whatever works for you, kiddo.
So Sherry, let's have a Britney update. What's going on with the Free Britney, and is she?
You know, I haven't read anything in a while, but I think she's going to sue her family.
Okay.
That's what I think. She's going to sue her family.
So she's got her freedom, but now she's suing them for everything they stole from her. Is that the
I
talk?
guess I
Yeah.
don't know. If it was me, I'd take the money and just run. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Enough with the. Listen, my only experiences with lawyers were the worst experiences of my life. So
You don't want anything to do with that world.
I guess, yeah, to have the kind of money where you can pay lawyers, that's
Mhm.
not me. That's not me. You know, that's, you know, they think about you. They're billing you, and then you go into court and it's 3 times their regular rate
Mhm.
just to sit there.
That's right.
You're actually in the court for 15 minutes, but the 3-hour wait beforehand, and you know, filling out the paperwork after that 5 hours you were there, you're getting billed for it.
That's right.
Right.
I used to.
We had
I-
you on hold for a half an hour. We're going to charge you for that.
Oh my God! So I had
I
one.
thought about you in the car. And
Oh,
let me
no,
text
I had-
you to
I had a
tell you
lawyer-
I was thinking about your case, and guess what? That text costs money.
I had a lawyer used to say to me, I bill you for the time that I sit on the toilet because that's what I think about your case.
That's funny, right? That's funny.
I had another lawyer bill me for 27 hours. I was working in aviation, venture capital, and deals and whatever, and we had a lot of lawyers. And he said, I thought I caught him. I got the bill. Nobody goes through the bill. It's this thick, right? And I said, what about this day? You billed us for 27 hours of your own time. And he said, without a hitch, he said, I was flying to LA for you guys. So the day was that much longer.
3 hours longer, yeah. So he was awake for 27 hours thinking of you.
Exactly. All right, what have you got, Sherry? You got one more?
But yeah, I got another song that I've never played in my life before, but it's Alanis Morissette. We were just talking about her. So this is not the one that everyone. Well, what's that one that everyone knows? You want to know?
Oh,
you
cool.
want to know what everyone knows? This is One Hand in My Pocket.
Oh, yeah, I know that song.
And another one is.
Yeah. I don't know what the other one's doing, Jimmy. I'm broke, but I'm happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy. Yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm hopeful. Baby, what it all comes down to is that everything's gonna be fine, fine, fine. 'Cause I've got one hand in my pocket, the other one's giving a high five. Don't mind my scrolling, sorry. I'm drunk, but I'm sober. I'm young, but I'm underpaid. I'm tired, but I'm working, yeah. I care, but I'm restless. I'm here, but I'm really gone. I'm wrong, and I'm sorry, baby. What it all comes down to, everything's gonna be quite alright. 'Cause I've got one hand in my pocket, the other one's flicking a cigarette. This is the accordion solo. partying downtown. Dun, 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 dun. Ed's playing a Nokia or something. What it all comes down to, that I haven't got it all figured out just yet. I got one hand in my pocket, the other one's giving a peace sign. Give me a peace sign, Ed. I'm free, but I'm focused. I'm green, but I'm wise. I'm hard, but I'm friendly, baby. I'm sad, but I'm laughing. I'm brave, but I'm chicken shit. I'm sick, but I'm pretty, baby. What it all boils down to is that no one's really got it figured out just yet. I got one hand in my pocket, the other one's playing the piano. But what it all comes down to is that everyone's gonna be fine, fine, fine. 'Cause I got one hand in my pocket, the other hand sailing a taxi cab.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Very
That was fun.
nice.
Yeah, I've never
Yes, it
done that.
was.
Excellent. You've never played them before, ever? You just looked at the
Ever.
tab and
All
Nice.
Through the Night, I've dabbled with. This one I never even tried before. But you know what?
But it's one of those songs that, there's certain songs that
But this is like my new iPad, and I
they're
like
in your
have
head.
yes. See, I can't even see it. I
nice.
have the Tabs app, and I'm just like, I use this at work all the time, and I just like flip through it. And so this is what's cool about this song. Is it's G to G4. I just like that suspension. It's G to G4 the whole verse.
Is that a Berkeley word, suspension? Like,
Yeah, I got suspended when I was at Berkeley for plagiarism.
for playing that chord. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, I'm broke, but I'm happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. Like, that's so cool. It's like, does this for the whole
Yes.
verse. Baby. Anyway, I
It's
like
a
it.
little like an
It's
F.
fun.
It's I'm sorry, it's a little like the 4, right? You know,
So now I'm just adding.
it's like going to D to G, kind of. You know, it's kind of like a chord change, but it's not. You know.
I'm going from B to C. So, right. So G.
Oh, it's B. It's in B.
No, so this is a G chord.
Yeah, G. Okay,
Right. So G. And the ukulele, it is G.
and then you go to a C, right? You play a C in there,
F sharp and then
Yeah.
C.
which
Yeah,
is
so
which is the 4. It's kind of like going 1 4 1 4, you know, but
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
not quite, you know.
Oh, I got to think about that. So
Well, you're adding the 4 an octave high, right? So
Yeah.
basically, yes, you're throwing that 4 on top.
But now what chords do I have in here? I have C. C, what is that? E, C, G, D, B. C, G, D, B.
C D E B
C, G,
C G.
B. I'm going to play with that. That's cool. Like, is it an inverted variation of a C? That's what I'm wondering. Is it like a C7th or C?
Got some notes in there, yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Oh wait, so what's in the chord? I wasn't sure what you were asking. Tell me what's in the chord.
Okay, so the first chord is G, is a G chord.
Yeah,
So,
G. And then what does the second chord do?
Second chord is G4.
Yeah, so it goes G, C, E, and what?
No, G, C, B. No,
No.
G,
C.
it's G, C, and D. G, C, and D. Yeah, G, C, and D. Right, because it's suspended.
Yeah,
So you're instead of playing 1, 3, and 5, you're playing 1, 4, and 5.
right. Which is a little bit like a C9.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah,
It's a little bit like a 9,
Yeah.
adding a 9.
right.
Everybody watching is like, what the hell's going on? It's a music show, for crying out loud.
I'm broke, but I'm happy. That's just so cool because it's not a chord change. It's a it's an alteration or whatever, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy. Yeah. I love
I'm
that.
this, but I'm that. But it's, I hear you. It's perfect. It actually
What-
works
what would
perfectly
the-
with what
would
she's
the bass
doing.
do? I mean, either one of you guys.
Well,
What
The
would-
For me,
bass just stays. It just stays on the G, right?
So,
Yeah, and walks around
you
little.
can't play a B.
no, you'd play when you're playing the suspended. Then the bass player.
I stay on there.
They could either stay on the root or they could play the 4.
Nah, play the 1. Bootsy Collins, stay on the 1. Never leave the 1, you know?
But the whole song is basically just G, F, and C.
Right.
Yeah. What it all comes down to. That's an F and then C.
Right. There you go.
It's a really, that's cool. I like that.
Alanis Moore. I haven't seen her in a while. What's she doing? Is she around?
Oh, I haven't done an Alanis update.
Free Alanis. I'm sick of freeing Britney. She's free. We need to find somebody else.
Yeah, it's gonna free somebody. Free Willie.
Free Willie. Free
Right.
Alanis.
I'm gonna do something totally random here. This is a water. Well, it's not gonna sound watered down, but the chords. I'm not doing any of the jazzy chords. I'm just doing regular chords on this.
Okay.
But, what was that video, Dave? Explain that video for the song.
What song is it?
The Shawn Mendes song.
I don't recall.
The video.
Are those the brothers that killed their
No.
mother? Or?
Menendez?
Oh, please, no.
No.
Is it Shawn Mendes?
He was one of the 2 brothers, wasn't he?
Sergio Mendes.
Oh no! It's okay. I'm confused. I didn't know what else she was talking about.
never knows
This
what
is
I'm
that.
talking about.
This is that Sergio Mendes ballad that was like all over easy listening radio for most of the 80s and 90s. You'll recognize it when she plays it. If you go on YouTube, there's a video that actually breaks down the genius of the way the song was written. It's full of, it's got like 50 key changes.
Oh, it's the most complicated song in the history of music.
right.
Yes,
and
and I'm going to play it for you now.
And Rick Beato, right? Rick Beato does a video on how unbelievably complex it is, right?
yeah.
I've seen that. That's a great video. And you're going to play that now, except you're going to do it as a 1-4-5 song, right?
I'm not. I'm just looking at it. I'm taking out the sevenths and stuff just to make.
Now I'm scared. Now I'm a little scared, but you know.
She's not going to give you any of the add 9s.
All right.
Oh crap! Hang
And
on a
I'm going to
second.
go make another cup of coffee
Wait, what just
because I'm
happened?
going to need it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's correct. I saw that video. Rick Beato does that. He does this video about how complicated it is.
I can actually play this better on the piano because then I can add the jazz chords. But on the ukulele, I could probably do it if I thought about it, but I'm not gonna do
Right.
it. So I'm just not playing them as jazz chords. I'm just playing as straight chords.
All right.
Oh, see, I'm starting with the wrong one anyway. I was as wrong as I could be to let you get away from me. I'll regret that move for as long as I'm living. But now that I've come to see the light, all I want to do is make things right. So just say the word, tell me that I'm forgiven. You and me, we're gonna be better than we were before. I loved you then, but now I intend to open up and love you even more. They don't do it yet. Time you can, I don't know how to play a deep. Wait, hang on. Time you can be sure, never gonna let you go. Gonna hold you in your arms forever. Gonna try and make up for the time I hurt you so. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. Gonna hold your body close to mine. From this day on, we're gonna be together. Oh, I swear this time I'm never gonna let you go. seemed so clear. I had it all when you were here. You gave it all, but I took it for granted. But now it puts some feeling left in you, some flicker of love that still shines through. Let's talk it out, talk about second chances. Wait and see, it's gonna be better than it was before. I gave it then, but now I intend to dedicate myself to giving more. This time you can be sure, never gonna let you go. Gonna hold you in my arms forever. Gonna try and make up for the times I hurt you so. Gonna hold your body close to mine. From this day on, we're gonna be together. Oh, I swear this time I'm never gonna let you go. I'm not going past there, but there's no like real structure to that.
That is a lot of, oh my God, that's a lot of chords.
Great song. Great
My
song.
favorite line is, where it goes, gonna try and make up for the times I hurt you so. This is my favorite part. Gonna hold your body close. I love that. Oh, damn.
It's a lot.
All right. Yeah, we'll work
Good
on it.
stuff. Good
I'll
stuff.
have it down pat by the next time we have a live jam.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I'm going to play a video right now. Check this out. I actually had nothing to do with the production of this one. This is a video that Mike Baumwald did with a bunch of super talented people. Check it out.
We just come from such different sets of circumstance. I'm up all night in the studios and you're out early on your rant. You'll be bursting out a brood man's tale while the sun is ascending and I'll just be getting home with my real to real. There's no comprehending just how close to the bone and the skin and the eyes and the lips you're getting. Still feel so alone and still feel related. Stations and some really are not a hit and run driving, no. Racing away. You just picked up a hitcher, a prisoner of the white lines on the freeway. Saw a farmhouse burned down in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. We rode right past that tragedy till we turned into roadhouse lights where a local band was playing. Locals were kicking and shaking on the floor. The next thing I know, that coyote's in my door. He spins me in a corner and he won't take no. He drags me out on the dance floor and we're dancing close and slow. Now he's got a woman at home. He's got another woman down the hall. He seems to want me anyway. Why'd you have to get so drunk and lead me on that way? You just picked up a hitcher, a prisoner of the white lines on the freeway. I looked a coyote right in the face. On the road to Valgenda, my old hometown, he was running through the whisper weed, chasing some birds out, and a hawk was playing with him. Coyote was jumping straight up and making passes, same eyes just like yours, under your dark glasses, privately probing the public rooms, peeping through keyholes and number doors, where players lick their wounds and take their temporary lovers and their pills and powders to get them through this fashion. on his fingers as he's watching the waitresses legs he chew far from the Bay of Fundy, from Appaloosas and Eagles and Chives, his air-conditioned cubicles, and the carbon ribbon rides are spelling it out so clear. Either he's gonna have to stand and fight or take off out of here. I tried to run away myself, to run away and wrestle with my ego. It's plain that you put here in this Eskimo, in this hitcher, in this prison, on the fine white lines, on the white lines, on the free,
All right.
That was cool.
Super fun. Well, good to see you guys. Glad you made it on GMTV, show 94.
You too.
Yeah, good to see you. Hey, so those stray cats. So the first picture of this really fat looking one with a real dumb look on his face.
This guy.
The first
Yes.
one, oh my God, I want that cat.
Yeah, I haven't. Actually, the ones that we got were the one in the middle with his tongue sticking out and the one that's facing away from us. We got both of them and we neutered them and released them today.
Aw.
And yeah, that big boy on the left is he's a bruiser. He's real big. Definitely has some Maine Coon cat in him. But unfortunately, he lost his tail. You know, so
We'll
he's
adopt
pretty.
him.
I really wanted to like a coyote got him or something, and I really want to catch him, but I don't know how. He's new around here, so I don't know. Maybe he's a domestic cat that got away. I don't know. Speaking of a domestic cat that got away, Dave Lindsay.
A tailless, soulless character.
There it is. Hey, Dave.
What's going on, guys?
How's
Happy
it
New
going?
Year.
What do you
All
eat?
is
What are you eating?
I made some pea soup tonight.
Ooh.
And I dumped in, like, we had all these. So we, as you know, Ed, we cooked a prime rib Christmas Eve, right? So I put it on top of all these vegetables, carrots, celery, and
Yeah, right.
onions, right? And so I had some of those vegetables left over from then.
Ooh, that's good.
And they went all in the soup. And
Ooh, and they got the drippings and everything from the. Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
It's tasty, very tasty.
I'll bet it is. Now, do you buy your own dry split peas and soak them, or what do you do?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I've been making pea soup for a few years, and I always thought you had to soak the peas overnight, and I always soaked them overnight. And then
But
I
you
looked it up today, and it's like you know, you could, but you don't have to. Just have to cook them a little bit longer.
Right.
So that's what I did tonight. Just threw them in, cooked them for a couple hours.
And you have some ham you slice up and put in there, or bacon?
I put some salt pork in there,
Mhm.
give it a little bit of flavor, and yeah,
Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
that's what I'm eating tonight.
That's what you eat in the winter when it's miserable and cold and icy out. You eat that.
Well, that's like what's going to be tomorrow, right? We're supposed to get some snow, and I figured went shopping today, get some supplies loaded in, and yeah. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing, you know, what's interesting is now that the holidays are over, there's this new resurgence of angriness and craziness on the internet and Facebook that I'm seeing anyway. I mean, I'm so isolated here. Like, I am on my own out here. Like, it's like what comes in my world is not much. It comes out of Facebook and the news and whatnot. And everybody's said, all right, holidays, screw it. We're back. We're going to start going crazy. So I don't know. I'm happy out here in the woods, taking it easy and doing electronic music. I've got my whole electronic music studio set up now. And
we're going down for the most part. I mean, Dave and I are both working, and aside from that, or like errands that we have to run, like grocery shopping or whatever, we're really not going anywhere. I'm still scheduled for surgery now for January 26th.
Ooh, okay then.
And I don't want to risk anything. So.
And what are they saying? Are they going to do it this time, or are they going to like?
So far.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. You'll be all right. You know, it's just a nuisance to go through, especially when you're dealing with hospitals and COVID and people there and whatever. But I'm sure they've got that
I saw
segregated.
my surgeon yesterday. I had a pre-op with him, and I was like, "Are you hearing anything about them canceling any surgeries because of hospitalizations?" Or anything? He said, "Nope, I've not heard anything like that." So,
right.
I think a lot of elective surgeries are getting canceled again, right?
Right.
I think so. I've heard that around here and other parts of the country. Yeah. We're
and
at that
mine's
place
somewhere in the middle because it's not life-threatening surgery, but like I get sick once a month if I don't have this. So
right.
I'm gonna get how am I gonna get my facelift worked on and my tummy tuck?
Yeah, I was scheduled for butt implants.
That's right.
And,
they canceled that, dude?
I got those right under the wire, like in December before the holidays.
They let Kim Kardashian do it. They just canceled Dave's, and then they gave him his appointment.
That's right. I went to the Kim Kardashian clinic in Palm Springs, and they did it there. You know, half price. So
for a second there, I was like, I'd like to see that, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see it on anybody. Who's doing this stuff? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Hey, speaking of electronic music, I have a cool device that I got as a Christmas present that I want to show you guys. It's called
Is it one of these?
Wait, what is it? No, it's not.
Or is it one of these?
No.
Oh, you got two now.
I want to see. I don't know if I can.
What is it?
It's called
Oh, I've seen those. That's cool.
Have you seen it?
What does it do? Yeah.
I'm trying to get it in the. So it's like a little 8-pad handheld device, right?
Right.
Got some speakers on the bottom.
Right.
And so you can play it with your fingers, right?
Cool.
That's awesome.
And it's got 4 basic tracks. So you got a drum track, you got a bass track, you've got a chords track, and a lead track, right? And you can change the sounds. Like obviously it comes with a smartphone app, right? You can go in, change the key, change what sounds are loaded onto it, and then you can record all those tracks. And the pads are like they're pressure sensitive, so you can.
Oh yeah, you can bend things and.
Yeah, and if you do like shake the thing around, it does cool stuff.
That
sounds
really cool.
That sounds great.
And you can port everything out of here to a MIDI controller, right?
Right.
To a DAW, and for somebody who likes, is always tapping with their fingers, like me, it's
right.
Perfect. Yeah, it's really cool. I've been having fun with it.
That sounds great.
You should have games loaded in on there, like Simon or something. They should have games Simon, like
right. I remember that's what it looks like.
Like try to copy patterns.
You'd have to follow it. I have not seen that this does that.
Right. I guess it doesn't light up, but that would be cool if it did. I mean, that'd be a fun little game.
This thing is amazing. It's called a pocket operator, right? Have you heard of these? And this is the Street Fighter edition. See, it's branded like the video game Street Fighter, and these are full-blown sampling workstations. Like you can make entire songs out of these things, like right. So you can sample stuff and write it, and then you can like. They're amazing. So I sit around. You sit around doing this all day. I sit around doing this all day. And then I had some Russian guy on Etsy make me a case. You see, this one's got a pocket operator in it, right? Okay. Because they just come like a circuit board. It's very like.
I remember you showing it on a show or two.
They're very raw. So I got a second one, and I got this cool acrylic case with buttons, and that's kind of fun too. But it's good raw. But I'm sitting around. I got my synthesizers out. I'm doing electronic music. I'm not bored yet. In any year before now, before COVID, I would have been cooped up in the house now anyway. So nobody was going out in January. Ugh.
The two of you should do a collaborative video.
Let's do a collaborative video. By the way, you guys are electronic music guys too. I remember that.
Your instrument, it cannot be more than this big.
What about this? I remember that video. We got to do a video. We got to do a collaborative video, all electronic, where we're all sitting there like with this deadpan look, like playing our instrument, a little whatever.
Yeah, play that clip. Look at Dave's face. Look at Dave's face.
Exactly.
I keep my hands to myself. Think I'll dust them off, put them up back on the shelf.
I'm telling you, we have an electronic music act going, like, you know.
So, did you notice Dave had glasses on in one of them and not in the other, just so you could tell the difference?
Wait, you mean that wasn't two separate people? Is that what you're telling me?
It looks like it was just me and somebody superimposed a guitar and glasses on one of them and superimposed the bass on the other one. That was the making the music part of that was a lot of fun. The video part was a chore, and I loved it.
Yep.
But yeah, pick a tune. Pick anything. Give me.
All right, we'll work on something. Sherry, you think of a tune.
Right.
And we'll do something. We'll do something electronic music because I'm surrounded by. I got modular synthesizers and patch cables everywhere here.
Like we should do an '80s song to like really capture like the synthesizers that they used back then.
Oh yeah, I got all that stuff. I've got a 1978 Wasp. Look at this.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Wasp. It's an old synthesizer, and it wasn't great in 1978. It was like you can't afford a Moog synthesizer, you get one of these, right? So now they recreated it, like Behringer made the Wasp. So I had to pick up the Wasp, like, because it was $1,000 in 1978. You know, now it's cheap. Now you get them cheap.
What was the? You just posted something the other day, and it was the synthesizer closest. In the picture.
So that's this one.
On it.
That's this one.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So what's
this is it's called a Crave. I can't. It's all wired. Hold on a minute. I'm never gonna be able. There we go. I'll unwire it.
We'll unplug it. But
so this is this is called a Crave, right? And it's a knockoff, an absolute direct knob for knob, control for control, everything of a Moog synthesizer they sell called a Mother 32, which is a really cool box, right? So but it's, you know, it came out, it was like $900 or $800, and they came, and Behringer's like $200, you know, you can buy the knockoff, and it's identical. It sounds exactly the same, slightly less cool, but it's a modular synthesizer, so you can, you know, it comes hardwired, and it's got a sequencer in it. And then you can be like, no, I don't like the way they hardwired it. And you can go, I want to go control this from that. And you can use these patch cords and create all kinds of things. You can make it do what's called regenerative music, which is you set it up a certain way and then you turn it on and it just plays music on its own. And it changes, and the notes change, and the textures change, and the rhythms change automatically. Very in a weird, organic Brian Eno crazy kind of way, But I've been having fun with that, and modular synthesis and building little boxes and integrating these into synthesizers. These pocket operators. Having fun,
Did you see my Borderline video there?
I'm Borderline. What'd you say?
Do you have my video for Borderline in your little stash there?
Oh, I don't have that one loaded up, but yeah, I remember you did that one.
That was fun.
Oh, we'll pick one. We'll pick a song, and we'll do it. It's about time. The holidays are over. We'll do a collaborative video.
Yep. I know Dave and I we're not doing any live music right now.
No, I'm not sure. The Duck is still doing its thing. Sugar Hollow is still doing a jam up there, and
Yeah.
I don't get it. I think people are taking unnecessary risks. That's at least my view of it right now.
Well, I've seen a lot of people post, on social media, like, do you know anyone who has COVID, or do you have COVID? And every answer is, oh, I know, 15 to 30 people that have COVID right now. I just had it, or whatever. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Let me tell you, I changed my tune. I changed my tune when you, Dave Lindsay, started talking about what you went through, a month ago or whenever that was.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, I better pay attention here. And then I completely changed my tune. All I'm telling you, I get an inordinate. I posted about this. I get an inordinate number of people that I'm in regular contact with for a second. Like a second a week. Like tonight, when I invite people to come into the show, I send out 50 invites for the show, and I hear back from people, and I'm telling you that no fewer than 5 people that you know and love are sick as dogs, and maybe worse right now. And they're like, please don't tell anybody. I don't want to get flooded with messages and whatever. But like I feel like I have this perspective. People are like, what? Hey, you got a cold for a day. It's no big deal. There are a bunch of people out there that are really struggling right now, and we're thinking about you. So
I have I saw 2 patients today that are COVID positive. I walked into the room, and I looked like somebody from the set of E.T. I had the gown, the gloves, the mask, the goggles, the headband, the whatever. And I felt fine. And, my boss will tell you, if you have that stuff on, it's not even considered an exposure to COVID.
Right.
If I just walked into their room like this, then that's a problem.
Right.
And that's what makes me nervous about the live music scene, is everyone's like, what? I can't hear you. And they're like,
well, that's the worst thing. And I think that is actually potentially, how I got infected, because I was out 2 nights in a row listening to live music, and where people are like, they're right in your face because you can't hear otherwise, right? Because the music's too loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, if I had a beer, I put my thumb over my bottle so nobody's spitting in there, right?
Right.
But I'm feeling like drops hitting my ear. I'm like, fucking A.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I'm just
right. And no one's gonna no one's out to judge anyone's lifestyle, but it's just not over yet.
That's right. And you've got this thing called the worst statistic in the history of statistics, if you've ever studied statistics or anything, is the positivity rate. Because all that means is, of the tests that people are taking, here's how many come back positive. But it doesn't talk about who's not taking the test or who's doing at-home tests. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a 21% positivity rate in Connecticut now, which is what they're saying.
Yep.
It must be 1 in 2 people that have COVID, or that are.
It's nuts. I mean, every day at work you got people disappearing, and then other people reemerging that you haven't seen in a while, and nobody's talking about it. And I've got family that are sick. I've got my neighbors, the whole household. was sick. My old neighbor just texted me about something completely unrelated. Oh yeah, by the way, the whole family's got COVID.
Right.
Everybody is coming down with this.
Yep.
It's worse than the initial
Yeah, and
outbreak.
like most people you talk to would be like, I felt like I had a cold, but there's people who are getting very, very ill.
Yep. I agree. And speaking of people disappearing and showing up again, Johnny L. I haven't seen you in 100 years. Are you okay, man? How you doing?
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Hey,
Good.
I haven't seen you in 100 years. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I was planning to come on earlier, but like a complete asshole, I decided to do a good deed and change our water drinking system filters, and I turned off the wrong water feed. So
Oh,
I
no.
have like 80 gallons of water all over the floor. My wife's
Oh,
throwing
no.
at me, screaming at me, helping me clean it up. What a nightmare.
And you're like, oh, yeah, you clean this up while I go play on GMTV. Right.
I had to log on to Ed's show. Yeah.
After like cleaning for 40 minutes, I literally was like leaning over about to pass out, and I took a shower.
Yikes. Well, good. Yeah.
Great being 57. Holy shit.
There you go. Would you have a birthday?
No, just feeling all the 57 tonight after 2 hours of running around.
I need some exercise. I was like, I went for a hike today, but I've been cooped up inside, not getting out enough. And, you know, it's good to get your blood pumping once in a while. I don't mind
Yeah,
that.
I took the dog for a walk today. I need to go about 10 times further. So that's my resolution for the year.
Exactly. Well, good to see you. I'm glad. We were just talking about all the people we know. And by the way, like, for those of you, you're probably not watching. Maybe you're watching the show. But for those of you who said don't tell anybody, I'm not telling anybody. But what I'm telling all of you out there is that there are people that you know and love whose name you know, and you've seen them recently, and they are not well right now. And you know, everybody be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And yeah. I mean, I hope it gets to the point where it is diluted enough that really, like, everybody, like, yeah, you know, like, you have the flu. No, like, nobody cares. And I know COVID is not the flu, and I know that that's what everyone's saying. But I just hope it reaches that point where it's like, yeah, I can't go out this week. I got COVID. You know, let's hang out next week, you know?
Right.
Yeah, well, that's called an endemic, which is where we're going to. So
Yeah, right. That's where we're going to end up. But I'll tell you this. I had a minor cold. I went to Colorado a couple weeks ago, and I came back and I got something. I didn't get it on the plane, actually. I got it from, I thought I got it on the plane, and then I got back, and about 3 or 4 days later, I talked to my friend in Colorado. He's like, I've been sick as a dog. We both got it. Wherever we got it together. And I was double masked on the plane with a N95 and like super, super careful. But I was like, how could I have gotten sick? How's this even possible? But I didn't like just having a minor cold. It was a minor cold. And I was like a big baby about it. I'm like, oh, sniffling, coughing. And so I don't want to go through it no matter what it is, whether it's 3 weeks of misery or 1 day of misery. I don't want to deal with it.
Exactly. I totally agree with you.
I'm not going to
won't
get it
even
from
talk
my
about
cat.
the date.
What's that?
We won't even talk about the date.
Yes, exactly. So do you have your guitar? Are you going to play a song for us, Sean?
I could, but not for a minute. Have you guys all played?
Yeah, we're going to end the show soon, but you know, if you feel like doing one, we'll wait for you.
All right. Well, let's condense it up for a minute or two. Give me a minute to get situated.
All right, I am going to play. What, Dave?
Can you switch our windows, me and the Platts, please, so Dave doesn't have to keep hiding behind the logo?
No, that was very nice of you.
Like this? There you go. What just happened? You know,
Little thoughtful guy. You're like the only person I know that would have actually went that extra little mile.
sometimes I turn it off, but I didn't
got
notice.
you,
Dave's
buddy.
like leaning
Yeah,
over it.
Tonight we learned that Dave Lindsay has your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
Speaking of people, like today is like the prodigal son and daughter day. It's Heidi. How you doing, Heidi?
Heidi.
Oh no, we can't hear you.
Oh no.
We don't hear you. Are you
Mute button.
muted? Oh no, computer issues.
But I'm gonna speak for Heidi and say that she came on to fight you too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Gotta have a woman on the show. Exactly.
Yeah, she read the Noise and Boys description and she said, "Up, I'm coming on."
So we can't hear you, Heidi. No, we don't hear you. Come back in again. Just come back in again, and we'll see if that works. There we go. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. But meanwhile, what am I gonna do? Meanwhile, I'm gonna play a video with Heidi. How about that? Check it out.
Well, my mind's going through them pages. I feel just like committing a crime. Every time you see me going somewhere, I know I'm going out of my mind again. Oh, my baby left me the other day, and we were having a lot of fun. I knew that I just loved you so. And that's the reason why it had to run. So bad, you know what I mean. So bad, the word I say. So right, oh yeah. Well, my mind's going through so many changes. I'm going right out of my mind. Every time you see me going somewhere, I look to me to be going down again. We had you running, we had you riding, we had you running, hiding, riding, running. Had you running, we had you hiding. Oh yeah, running, oh that's right, yeah. Had you running, had you hiding. We had you running, had you hiding, yeah. It's alright, what I say. It's alright, yeah. Well, my mind's going through them changes. I feel just like committing a crime. Every time you see me going somewhere, I feel like I'm going out of my mind again. Every day that you left me alone, you couldn't have much to say, no, no. Every time you take out on me, you did not feel, yeah. Oh, damn, you got fooling, baby. You didn't know what I feel. Every time you see me, yeah.
There it is. Are you there, Heidi? No, we can't hear you. Oh no. Well, you can wave. You can hear us and wave. You know. I know you have your dinner waiting for you and whatever, but it's nice to see your smiling face. I don't know why you're not working.
Heidi, can you type in the chat?
I don't know. She's trying. Anyway, John, you want to play some? What do you do for us?
All right. Let me see if I can do one. I'm
Are
using
you
my
out-
Phone. Hopefully, it's not too bad. But
No, it's working. Is your room heated out there? Obviously, it's heated.
It's heated. Yes.
I remember when you were building that thing.
All right. How about a little Jimmy Buffett tonight?
All right.
I have heard you call. I wanted to tell upon your waters since I was 8 feet tall. You've seen it all. You say Watch the man erosion, switch from sails to steam, and then we'll burn through the treasures real has ever seen. Oh, silver green. Actually, I screwed that up. Yes, I am a pirate, 200 years too late. The cannon don't thunder, there's nothing to plunder. I'm an over 40 degrees. I'm too late. I've been too late. I've done a bit of smuggling. I run the share of grass. Made enough money to buy my hand, and out of this city way so fast. And ran to last. I had been drunk now for over 2 weeks. Stop at an area, and it's for 2 weeks. But I gotta go fishing, gotta go fishing, gonna bottom again. Just a few friends, just a few friends. I go for younger women, live with several a while. Though I ran them away, they'll come back away. I still could man and smile. Just it takes a while. Just takes a while. Mother, Mother Ocean, after all the years I found, my occupation now has a been, and my occupation just not around. Like I drown, wanna head uptown. Like I drown, gonna head uptown.
Nice.
A little rusty, and my voice is hoarse from hollering at my wife.
Sounds good. I think Heidi's on now.
What's that?
I
Is
think, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
guess what? Okay.
What?
So I figured out the audio problem. I couldn't find my normal little headset, so I grabbed this other set, and this set doesn't have a microphone.
That's it.
Oh, you know
I
what?
had a bit.
I don't know. You know, Ed, I was just typed in. There's always one person we can't hear. Like this has happened before, and I wonder if it's the headphones.
Yeah, it could be.
Ed recommended I unplug it. What a good idea, Ed.
I had a suspicion it was the headphones, but good to see you, Heidi. How are you?
You too. Good.
Has it been freezing cold in Texas? What's going on down there?
It is. It's today. It was in the 20s, and then it went to like 33, 35. I mean, I like it. I like winter, and so we're having winter. Yeah, we have winter here, and it'll go down into the teens. And last year we had that snowstorm, and who knows?
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's up for this winter, but we are in winter, and yet last week it was like 80 degrees. So I have now learned there are a lot of memes about Texas weather that you'll be in shorts, it'll be 80, and then for a week it'll be like 15 degrees, and then
Right.
it'll go to 80, and then
You've got weird weather down there. I don't even quite understand it. You know, the how variable it is. You can get that Arctic blast, and you can get that tropical air, and it's one day to the next.
And
Yeah, my buddy moved to San Antonio, and he said, it's really not that much hotter down here. Yes, it's hot, but because I flew up one day to go up to the Cape, and it was 94 up in Boston. That was about the same as when I left San Antonio.
I used to go visit my mother in Arizona, and in the winter in the mountains outside of Phoenix, it would be 85 during the day. 85 during the day. So you're in shorts, you're out hiking, you're going, oh my God, it's hot. The sun sets and it drops to 25 degrees in a half an hour. And so you go from like you go out hiking and you don't make it back by sunset, you're done. You're in big trouble. 50-degree temperature swings.
Maybe we need to set up a little Weather Center Ed expedition down to Texas and find out what's going on there.
With the boat, with the Weather Seeker Marine unit, you know?
Exactly.
I was down in Florida for Christmas, and it was 75 degrees every day, low humidity. My mother rubbed it into me yesterday and said, it's been that way every day since you've left.
Where were you? Where do you go in Florida?
Vero Beach, so southeast.
I bought my boat in Vero Beach. There's a little like inlet with moorings in Vero Beach, and I that's where I bought my boat 20 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, that's where my mother lives, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went down there. What happened was there was a snowstorm here. You remember the snowstorm 20 years ago? That snowstorm, right? And I went. The airports were closed for 3 days, so I flew down to go look at this boat. But I wasn't going to buy the boat. I went down just to get away. It was winter. It was miserable, and they're like, "Come to Vero Beach and look on our boat, and you could stay on the boat." I was like, "Done." So I flew down, and then the airports got closed for 3 days, so I was stuck down there. And I fell in love with the whole lifestyle and the whole idea, and I bought the boat. Changed my life. So there you go.
There you go. Living the dream.
Gonna make it down to Florida, you know. Go see our good friend Dave Sarney, who went to high school with us down there.
Yeah, my wife says she'll have a house down there, but only if she doesn't. But only for like 3 months a year, because Florida in the summer is just brutal.
You don't want to do that. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to have a place there. You got to wait January, February, March, and then you're out. You know.
Yep. There you go. And have some
you don't want to be there hurricane season. You don't want to be there bug season. You don't want to be there in the summer. You know, like, good stuff. You got another song for us, John?
No, I'm calling tonight. My throat was pretty hoarse, so I'm gonna hold off.
It's all good. Nice to see you back again. Hope you make it more often.
Guys, it's been too long.
And Heidi, what's going on with you? How you doing?
All right. I'm so tired of this. I'm tired. I've been in this house pretty much. It's going to be 2 years.
Oh, of COVID, you mean? You're cooped up again like you were.
Yeah, and 2 days ago, my band leader from my my former band called me and said, everybody of the original members is back and we'd love to have you back. Okay, so this is the third time. And I'm like, no, this is not a good time. And they've got all these gigs coming up. And I said, I just can't. So they're nervous.
It's great when you have people say, oh, now that COVID's over. And I'm like, what? It is?
Unfortunately not.
I just
Unfortunately.
Don't say anything.
And I get it. You know, what happened a week ago, I had 2 gigs and nobody was canceling. The clubs weren't canceling. The bands weren't canceling. I was like, so finally I just said, look, you guys, this is between Christmas and New Year's. I wrote both bands and I said, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm out. I'm not doing it. Like that's it. Sorry. But you guys can do it without me. I'm just a keyboard player. You don't need me. I'll be fine. You'll be fine, right? And they both wrote back. Within 5 minutes, one of the bands wrote back and said, thank God somebody said it because I'm not doing it either, right? And then we called the venue and they're like, thank God you called because we're not doing it either. You know, like everybody backed out. And the other one did get canceled as well. But I am worried about people. If anybody's watching this, don't be going out and getting sick now. Not now. It's almost over. You know.
It's over, I know.
Right.
And the whole thing about Omicron. I've been reading a lot of articles lately on how people have this false sense of, oh, it's milder. No, it's
yes.
It's just that so many more people have gotten vaccinated. So what they're getting is a skewed perspective of what Omicron really looks like.
Right.
But you know, I the last time I went out, like really out, it's funny because I was going to post something that said, I don't leave my house. When I do, it involves an airplane. Like the last time I really went out was when I went up north to look at the areas again. And then I went to Connecticut the day that I saw you. And that was like, whoa, I'm getting on an airplane again. And then before that, we had gone also to look at areas because we're looking at moving back to the Northeast. And other than that, like what you've seen on Facebook, that's it. There's no outings. There's no restaurant. There's no gym. We're not going to our gym. We're just eating home. We're not even doing takeout. it's just locked in, and it's been like that. We had a window of about maybe a month when things started looking like, oh, right before Omicron, we went to our gym. No, now we're back to, we're just kind of like feeling our age, because you have to exercise the body. It just becomes,
Right.
we're like, this is crazy.
But you know where I am. I'm out in the middle of nowhere in the woods, right? And I went to Shoshone Falls today. I took a hike at because there's nobody here. Like, I drive into the parking lot. I'm like, this is like deliverance. There's nobody here. And but at least I feel safe. I'm gonna.
Well, you have a nice area that's scenic for hiking. I am really now living in a suburb.
Right.
And if I'm going to walk out, I sometimes exercise in my room, or I walk in the neighborhood, but I'm just looking at houses, basically. I'm not a suburban person. I'm a city person, and either it's city or country.
Let's do it, John.
That's right. Are they playing deliverance music? We're trying to be serious here.
I used to be able to do it.
That was a cool video from your walk today. And I like that in the falls.
You got to come and check this place out here. There's a lot of cool stuff out here.
Yeah, that looked nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful and it's quiet, and I go to the same. I'm boring. Like in Connecticut, I go to the same restaurant. Like I'm like, do I want to go out to eat? I'm going to one of two places. That's where I'm going. I'm going to my Mexican favorite place, or I'm going to whatever. I go to the same places all the time. And same thing out here. I go to Walmart to grocery shop out here. There's a waterfall on the way. I go there every time. Every time I go shopping, and I go to High Point.
Have you found any little restaurants that aren't crowded or anything that you?
There is a really cute little place that is very, very good at social distancing, and called Chris and Gina's. They're in Dingman's Ferry. And they're great food, like giant portions, and it's totally free compared to Fairfield County. And every once in a while, I go treat myself, but nobody's going hungry out here.
You may say you're boring, but everything you post as far as what you cook, very different.
I'm cooking. My cooking is in great shape. I'm like, oh, I got 4 hours to cook and eat dinner. Might as well make something amazing. Crazy. Well, anyway, I hope you all do great this week, and I hope that COVID blows over fast this time. It's great to see all your smiling faces.
Me too.
I'm going to call
Happy
it
New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to you all. I'm going to play a video. I'm going to play us out with a video. I was going to push the Steve Wexler button, but I'm going to play something that Dennis put together. And I'll see you all soon on GMTV. It's show 95 next week.
Bye, everyone.
See everybody.
Who's pounding? It was the night before. I turned to see you like I did 10,000 times before. If you want to dance inside my shoes, you can turn dancing, baby, don't give me the blues. You were dancing inside my shoes. Inside my shoes. 1,000 candles burn on the summer wind. You got Georgia on your mind, and I know I can win. And if you want to, you can dance. kitchen dancing, baby, don't give me the blues. You were dancing inside my shoes. Inside my shoes. Inside my shoes. That's it.
Hey, so one more little thing. I started the show with it. We talked about it during the show. These are my boys. They live outside. They need help. We're catching them and we're sending them off to get snipped and to get vet attention and all that, and we're re-releasing them. My little feral cat colony. This is 4 of about 7 of them right now. Probably more as it gets colder. If you feel like donating, everything that you donate to the show tonight and the immediate future is going to go to the kitty cats. So if you feel like doing that, please do. I hope you all have a great week, and we'll leave it with my good friend, Steve Wexler. See you next week. Show 95.